Wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at armstrongbirdfood.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep. Because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
The NFL Draft is coming, and the place for the latest information is SiriusXM NFL Radio.
This guy's decision-making is impressive.
Our experts will tell you what your team needs.
They've got to get better around Geno Smith.
And which players will make an impact.
Cleveland, they might already say the number one's going to be Ward, so we got to be prepared. Who do we like it to the most?
SiriusXM NFL Radio gets you ready for the NFL Draft on Channel 88 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on SiriusXM Channel 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
High, deep left field. That ball is out of here. Home run of the season for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And the Blue Jays double their lead 2-0.
That was nice. I think that hopefully gets him going. He's been close. He's been swinging the bat really well, and got a hanger there 3-2. Hopefully Vlad can get on a roll.
John, what was the reaction to Vlad's home run?
About time, kind of just joking with him, but he was kind of leading the jokes at himself a little bit. But it's nice to see that from him.
It was certainly about time for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who hit his first homer of the year on Wednesday and helped the Blue Jays to a win and a series win over the Atlanta Braves. Now the second series of the homestand about to start. The Blue Jays hosting the Seattle Mariners for 3 this weekend. I'm Ben Schulman in a packed house at Rogers Center alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, largest development for the Blue Jays in that series is the power awakening for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Well, his swing has been looking pretty good, pretty smooth. For the better part, I would guess 7 or 8 games, he's looked a lot better driving that baseball the other way. And he got a hanging breaking ball, and he didn't miss it. And that's the beautiful thing about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. When he's going right, he doesn't miss those pitches. He doesn't miss mistakes, even from a Spencer Strider, even from a Spencer Schwellenbach. When those guys make just one mistake, he hammers that baseball, and he did last game.
After that win, the Blue Jays up to 11-8. Let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees open up today 12-7, leading the AL East. The Blue Jays a game back at 11-8. Boston Red Sox 10-10 in third. The Baltimore Orioles 8-10 in fourth, and the Tampa Bay Rays 8-11. They occupy fifth place. Seattle opens up today second in the American League West at 10-9. They're 2 games back of the Texas Rangers. Speaking of Seattle, Chris, who's in the lineup for Dan Wilson's Mariners?
Well, leading off for those Mariners is Julio Rodriguez. He's in center field tonight. Jorge Polanco will be DHing. He's batting second. Batting third is Cal Raleigh. He's behind the dish. In the cleanup spot is Randy Arozarena. He's in left field. Batting fifth is Luke Raley. He's in right field. At first base is former J. Rowdy Tellez. He's hitting sixth. Hitting seventh is Miles Mastrobuoni. He's at second base. At third base is Ben Williamson. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth is J.P. Crawford. He'll be at shortstop tonight. On the mound for the Seattle Mariners is Brian Wu. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off is Bo Bichette. He's at shortstop. At first base is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He'll bat second. Batting third is Anthony Santander. He'll DH tonight. At second base in the cleanup spot is Andres Jimenez. Hitting fifth is George Springer. He's in center field. In right field is Addison Barger. He'll hit sixth, batting seventh. Behind the dish is Alejandro Kirk. At third base, batting eighth, is Will Wagner. And batting ninth in left field is Alan Roden. On the mound is righty Bowden Francis.
28-year-old native of Tallahassee, Florida, Bowden Francis, getting his warm-up pitches in right now. 6'5", 220-pound righty is 1-2 this year with a 3.71 earned run average in 3 starts. His last start, a bit of a tough one, ends up giving up 5 runs, only 3 of them earned in 5 2/3 innings. You might remember that drop ball over at first base that did not allow him to get through 6. Would have had a quality start if not for that error, but on the whole, it's still been a very nice start for Francis.
Yeah, I think his last couple of starts have been kind of similar, where he looks very strong early on, and then you can tell he gets a little bit tired towards the end of the start. He starts leaving that split finger up. He starts leaving that fastball kind of in a hittable location, maybe down the middle, in or third. He can't do that tonight against this Seattle Mariners lineup. This is a very, very powerful lineup. They hit mistakes, they hit hanging splitters, and they definitely hit fastballs thigh high right down the middle.
Bowden Francis just wrapping up now on a City Connect Friday. The Blue Jays in their dark City Connect uniforms with neon red and blue lettering. For the Seattle Mariners, it's their aqua-colored jerseys with white font and gray pants. Lineups down the streets today outside of Rogers Center, even spanning from early in the morning. Big giveaway today and a big series, starting with the Seattle Mariners as Julio Rodriguez, the right-handed hitter, steps into the box. Francis digging his heel into the third base side of the rubber. Now sets into the wind and his pitch. Inside, ball 1. Time of the first pitch today, 7:09 Eastern. Roof is closed. 15 degrees today in downtown Toronto, but a wet day, some rain throughout. Here's the 1-0. Inside again, 2 misses on fastballs. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
And again, like I said before the broadcast, this is not the team you want to fall behind on in terms of pitches. You don't want to fall behind 2-0 because then you have to throw something that's very hittable, and these guys have a ton of power.
2-0 pitch. Rodriguez hits a sharp grounder to short, speared by Bichette. His throw on to first in time. 1 out.
Really nice play by Bo Bichette there. Nice little pickup and a perfect throw across the diamond for out number 1.
111 miles an hour. That was hit off the bat to Bichette's left. 1 out here in the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Time called at the plate quickly by home plate umpire Jansen Visconti. It's Malachi Moore at first, crew chief Andy Fletcher at second, Brock Ballou at third. Jorge Polanco, the hitter, batting left. Here's the pitch. High and outside, ball 1.
Missed a few times already, arm side high. That tells me that he's lazy with that arm. He needs to get on top of that fastball.
4-seamer, splitter, curve are the main 3 pitches for Francis. His 1-0. Curveball. Misses arm side high again, ball 2.
That's the perfect pitch. When you are missing arm side high, when you don't really have the command of that fastball, mixing in a breaking ball forces you to get out front, forces you to get that pitch down. Let's see if it worked.
2-0. Fastball hit on the ground to first. Guerrero fields it, stomach high, and jogs to the bag, stepping on the base for the out. 2 down.
Worked perfectly, didn't it, Ben? That fastball was at the bottom of that strike zone. Really nice pitch from Bowden Francis.
Francis has fallen behind 2 balls, no strikes to each of the first 2 hitters, but the third pitch both times has resulted in a ground out. 2 down, the base is empty, and the switch hitting catcher, one of the more dangerous bats in baseball right now, Cal Raleigh, up to the plate. He'll hit from the left side, infield playing to pull. The pitch. High ball 1. About as extreme of a shift as the Blue Jays have played all season to the pull side. Will Wagner, the third baseman, nearly at a regular shortstop position. 1-0. Raleigh takes it. It's a pitch called high. Looked pretty good with the splitter there. 2 balls, no strikes.
That was a little floating split finger. Not where he wanted that pitch. I'm sure he wanted that pitch down, but it floated to the top of the strike zone. I thought that caught the strike zone.
So he's fallen behind 2-0 again. His pitch to Raleigh. Outside ball 3. Cannot groove one to Cal Raleigh. He's got 8 home runs on the season. Second to Tyler Soderstrom for the Major League lead.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be careful here. I don't think he's going to throw a fastball right down the middle. I'm sure in their scouting report they said if you fall behind to this guy, you have to pitch backwards.
His 3-0. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 1.
Nice pitch right there at the bottom corner of that strike zone. Almost unhittable.
2 outs and the bases empty. No score between the Mariners and the Blue Jays, top of the first. Francis winds, kicks, and offers. And hits the zone with another heater. Might be a little bit wide of an outside edge on the zone tonight, but it's called a strike. It's full count.
How about that velo? 95 miles an hour from Bowden Francis.
Raleigh steps out of the box, back into it, lays the bat down for a moment, and looks out to the right-handed pitcher. Francis is 3-2. Hit foul off to the left.
He's got that good velo today. How about that? 94, 95. Threw a couple of fastballs at 91 earlier on in this ball game, but he's gassed up to Cal Raleigh.
He sets up the splitter grip, puts the ball into his glove belt high, into the wind. Another 3-2. Hit back foul. It'll land into the 200 level just behind home plate.
That was the closest one we've had this season, Ben. You could have stuck your arm out and caught that one.
Yeah, in your dreams. 2 down, bases empty, no score in the top of the first. A third 3-2 pitch from Francis. Drilled down the right field line. That's going to hook foul. No doubt had home run distance, but Cal Raleigh a little out in front of it.
Yeah, but that's really all you can do with that pitch. It was a well-located fastball up around the hands of Cal Raleigh. Even though he got the barrel to it, that's all you can do is hit a foul.
3-2 again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on the breaking ball. Flipped in the curve to end a 1-2-3 top of the first. No score. Blue Jays and Mariners. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your
Hey, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us this weekend. The Seattle Mariners are in town to face our Toronto Blue Jays here at the Skydome. Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider. Let's go Blue Jays! Let's go Blue Jays! Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider. Now please, help us grow this amazing community, and the best way to do that is to exit out of the chat, smash that like button down below, and share this link out. You see that arrow? Click that share, send it to your friends. Send it out on social media, wherever. Let's get more baseball fans here in the chat and grow this awesome Blue Jays community. Let's go Jays! We'll see you back in the chat.
Gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hey, this is Chris Bassett. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. No score as the Blue Jays hit for the first time in this game in the bottom of the first inning. Brian Wu wrapping up his warm-up pitches for the Mariners. 20 5-year-old is about to make his 4th start of the year, 2-0, with a 2.84 ERA in 19 innings pitched. Big applause at Rogers Center as Bo Bichette steps up. He'll hit first. Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Anthony Santander behind him. Oakland native Wu faces to the side, pointed toward third base, brings the glove to his face, winds and offers. First pitch low, ball 1. Brian Wu really good. The game plan, though, fairly simple. Almost 3/4 of his pitches are going to be fastballs. From the first base side of the rubber, the 1-0. Fastball outside, 2-0.
He locates really, really well, though. This season in 19 innings, he's walked just 4. And if you go back to last year, 2024, in just over 121 innings, he walked just 13 guys.
He shrugs his shoulders. Here's his 2-0. Called a strike. Just grab the outside corner to make it 2-1.
And you can see that sinker has a ton of life through that strike zone. A lot of downward action, a lot of horizontal movement. He's really tough to square up.
The 2-1. Bichette hits it foul. Four-seam fastball at 97, 2-2.
He's really good at mixing the sinker and that four-seamer. Just when you get used to the sink on that sinker, he mixes in the four-seamer and it scoots right by your barrel.
A little more sinker to righties, more four-seamer to lefties. His 2-2 to Bichette. Hit on the ground right side. That's going to sneak through into right field for a base hit. Didn't get all of that sinker, but got enough of it and hit it exactly where the infield wasn't.
Well, if there's one guy that can barrel up that type of fastball, that type of sinker in on the hands, it's Bo Bichette. A little inside-out pitch, finding that hole on the right side for a big first at-bat.
So a leadoff single for the Blue Jays. No score in this game. Bottom of the first. And a big applause for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Wu from the stretch. Bichette takes off on the pitch. It's outside and low, a ball. Throw down to second. Not in time. First stolen base of the year for Bo Bichette, who got in there so quickly there was no tag.
Well, that was stolen on Brian Wu. It was almost like Brian Wu wasn't paying attention to him. Bo Bichette knew it. He took off even before Brian Wu lifted that leg. Nice job by him out at second base now.
It's basically a walking lead. He just kept walking and walking and walking until he started running. 1-0 to Vlad. Called a strike, 1-1. First stolen base of the year for Bichette. In his second attempt of the year, he's on second base with nobody out. Wu sets, looks back at second. One more peek, and now the 1-1. Up and in. Guerrero started the swing, pulls the hands back. 2 balls, 1 strike. Guerrero hitting .292 so far on the season. 4 doubles, a homer, 10 RBIs. The pitch. Hit on the ground at the first baseman. Tellez, who bobbles, but will flip it back to Wu for the out. Bichette moves up to third. Tellez, the former Blue Jay, did just enough keeping it in front of him to retire his old teammate Vlad.
Well, Brian Wu did a good job continuing on to first base. I think when a ball is hit that hard right at the first baseman, pitchers tend to kind of stop and let the first baseman take it himself. But Wu did a good job continuing on and taking that little underhand feed from Tellez over there.
Infield in now. Bichette to third on the ground out, and with 1 out, the pitch to Santander. Hit on a line, left center field, and caught by Arozarena. Bichette's going to tag and come in to score as Arozarena lobs it back in. And the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead on a sac fly from Anthony Santander.
Well, I thought that ball was actually in the gap, but Arozarena over there in left field does a good job catching that baseball, cutting it off, had a ton of top spin on it. It's a little bit easier play than I thought, but a good job getting Bo Bichette home on that sac fly.
So the Blue Jays open up a 1-0 lead now with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the first. Here's Andres Jimenez. Right on left, Brian Wu into the windup, the pitch. Called strike.
And looking back to that stolen base, how big is that?
Huge.
He would never have scored that run if he hadn't have taken second base.
Wu's 0-1. Swing and a fly ball, center field. Rodriguez backpedaling toward the warning track, makes the catch in front of it, and ends the inning. The Blue Jays score 1 run on 1 hit. Bo Bichette with the single, the stolen base, and then he comes in to score on the Santander sac fly. 1-0 Toronto as we head to the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Carney Wilson from Wilson Phillips. 35 years ago, in the spring of 1990, we released our debut self-titled album.
Hold on for one more day.
And all this week, I'm here on Mom Jeans, reminiscing about the songs from that record and the music and pop culture from the late 80s and early 90s.
Mom Jeans. Now for a limited time on Channel 105 on most radios. And always available year-round on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Saturday,
3:30 p.m. Eastern.
It's the North Carolina Education Lottery 250, presented by Black's Tire.
From Rockingham Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Yes! I love you guys!
Get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
With the first pick, the Tennessee Titans select.
We caught up with the top prospects as they get ready to start their careers in the NFL.
Miami Hurricane quarterback Cam Ward.
My journey's been unbelievable.
And hear pick-by-pick coverage of the 2025 Draft from Green Bay starting April 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Radio Network.
It's the second inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays up 1-0 as we start the top of the second with Randy Arozarena going up against Bowden Francis. First full season with the Mariners for the right-handed hitting former Ray Arozarena. Into the wind, the pitch from Francis. Swing and a liner right at Bo Bichette, caught for the first down. Francis has retired the first 4 Mariners, but it is a tough lineup to face right now. Seattle's won 6 of 7, scoring over 6 runs per game in that span. Left-handed hitter up now. Francis deals to Luke Raley. Raley takes a strike.
Nice job getting ahead there. Now you can expand, you can work up, you can work down. And like we talked about earlier, this is a very powerful lineup. You can't just leave pitches over the middle of the plate.
The 0-1. Foul tip, 0-2.
That's a great pitch there, just above the strike zone. That one is kind of the sweet spot where it looks like a hittable pitch and then kind of sneaks above the barrel.
Francis kicks, and now the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's a fastball right down the middle, and he beat him at 93. 2 down.
Well, that's what happens when you can throw your off-speed pitches for strikes. That slower breaking ball, the split finger. Obviously, Raley was thinking about something like that, and then just blows that 93-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle past Raley.
Nice applause now as with 2 outs, the former Blue Jay, Rowdy Tellez, comes up to the plate. First season with the Seattle Mariners for the slugging left-handed hitter. The pitch. Swing and a deep drive. Right field. That ball is gone. A line drive home run for Rowdy Tellez. And on the first pitch he sees today, he leaves his old home yard. 1-1 game.
Well, he absolutely smoked that baseball to right field. Obviously, that's a pitch that Bowden Francis wants back. He was just trying to get ahead with a nice fastball right down the middle. Wasn't expecting Rowdy Tellez to do that. He jumped all over that pitch.
Hit at 113 miles an hour. It went 373 feet. Just to the right of the right field bullpen, and Tellez has the trident now as he's walking down the Mariners dugout in what's a 1-1 game. 2 outs, bases empty. The pitch to Miles Mastrobuoni is hit foul on a line, right field line, 0-1. For Tellez, his second home run of the season, and just his 5th hit this year in 37 at-bats.
Well, he squared that one up.
He did.
That was an impressive home run right on a line from Rowdy Tellez.
2 outs, bases empty, 1-1 top of the second, the 0-1 pitch. Curveball for a called strike, 0-2.
I like that pitch. You have to work backwards. You have to throw backdoor breaking balls. Split fingers below the strike zone. You can't just flip things over the middle of the plate.
Mastrobuoni, left-handed hitting second baseman, 0-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Had Mastrobuoni out front on the splitter. Second strikeout of the inning, but the Mariners tie it up. They get 1-on-1 hit. It's Rowdy Tellez, the former Blue Jay, with a solo shot at Rogers Center to make it a 1-1 game, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Of all the things that TimberMart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you! Thanks for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays game. We really appreciate you being here, chatting it up every single game. We're live 1 through 162 right here on Toronto Sports Insider. You won't miss any of the action. Every pitch, every home run, every big play by our Blue Jays, whether it's at the Dome or on the road, we're here and we're hanging out together, cheering them on. Now let's get back to the baseball. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell. And welcome to this awesome community. Now keep it classy, and we'll see you back in the chat.
For a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday, you can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday, so many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Blue Jays win it 3-1.
Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. The Blue Jays and Mariners tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. George Springer leads it off for the Blue Jays. Addison Barger and Alejandro Kirk to hit this inning for Toronto as well. 5, 6, 7 in the Blue Jay order. Righty Brian Wu on the mound for the Mariners. Looking in at Springer. He brings the glove up, winds, and delivers. First pitch, check swing, liner foul, 0-1.
It's good to see George Springer back in the lineup.
Last time Springer hit was at Baltimore as a DH on April 13th, and he was shaking out his wrist after a couple of swings in his last at-bat. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Talked to George today, and he said it was a hard feeling to describe. He said if you've ever played football, kind of like a stinger, but he felt it in his wrist and add a little bit extra pain. The 0-2. Popped up foul territory, first base side. Raleigh, the Platinum Glover, scrambling over, and it's off his glove and into his own dugout. Tough play, no doubt, but it looked like for a moment there Raleigh had tracked him.
Well, initially I thought that Rowdy Tellez would come and make that play. It seemed like an easier play for him, but he was playing way back, almost to the cut of the grass, to that outfield grass. So he basically had no shot. That was a tough play for Cal Raleigh.
He had to go pretty much all the way to the front fence of the Mariner dugout, but he slowed down a little at the last moment, and it gives Springer an extra life. Another 2-strike pitch. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good take from George Springer. Going back to that pop-up, it was almost like Cal Raleigh thought he was closer to that little short railing than he was. There's some stairs over there as well.
The 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes, also a little bit low. Raleigh, a Gold Glover for the first time last year, a Platinum Glover, the first Platinum Glover in Mariners history. Awards started in the early 2010s. 2-2 is hit on the ground up the middle, a base hit into center field. Springer makes good use of that extra life after the foul pop glances off the glove of Raleigh, and he's aboard with a leadoff single.
Good swing on that 98-mile-an-hour sinker from Wu. I watched him pretty closely today during batting practice, and he seemed like his normal self, so that's a good sign right there.
It seems like that left wrist is doing all right for George Springer. He's on first base. And Addison Barger to the plate looking for his first major league hit this year. The pitch. Down and in. Ball 1. We were talking before the game, Chris, and we both seem to like this matchup a little bit for Addison Barger.
Yeah. Addison Barger hits fastballs very well. Brian Wu throws a ton of fastballs.
The 1-0. Barger squares to bunt and bunts through it. Strike 1. Didn't see that one coming.
I can't tell if that was a sack or if that was trying to bunt for a base hit.
It felt like somewhere in between. Runner on first, no outs, 1-1. Called to strike 1 and 2.
I mean, that's a tough pitch. A 4-seam fastball, 97 at the bottom corner of that strike zone. Addison Barger likes those fastballs a little bit elevated. Let's see if he gets one here.
1-1 game, bottom of the second, and a check over at first by Wu. Springer back in with a dive. George Springer has 2 stolen bases this year, hasn't been caught. He led the Blue Jays in stolen bases with 16 last season. He takes his lead to Les holding him on. 1-2 pitch. Barger swings and hits a ball high in the air right field. On the warning track, Luke Raley, and a couple feet from the wall, he makes the catch. 1 out.
Pretty good swing right there from Barger. I think it got in on him just a little bit. Wasn't able to quite barrel that thing up, but a pretty good swing about 10 feet from the wall out in right field.
It was one of those elevated heaters, a 4-seamer up just a little bit to the inner third.
Missed that barrel by about a hair.
So Barger still waiting for that first major league hit of 2025. Goes to 0 for 8 on the season. Here's Alejandro Kirk with 1 out. 1-1 game. Wu from the stretch steps off and throws over to first. Springer back in with a dive again.
I wouldn't mind if George Springer tries to steal second base here. It didn't look like he was really interested in doing that when Barger was up. Maybe he'll do it here with Kirk.
The pitch to Kirk. High, ball 1. One ball game, bottom of the second. Wu's worked with runners on base a lot, giving up leadoff hits in both of the first 2 innings. 1-0. Up and in, 2-0.
Oh boy, that sinker moves all over the place. Started outside and ran all the way back in off the plate.
The kind of tantalizing stuff that prompted the Mariners to draft Wu despite his 6.36 ERA in college. His next pitch is called a strike, 2-1.
I don't know if they have this stat, but that might be the highest ERA of any drafted pitcher in college history.
What was your ERA in Winthrop?
Hey.
2-1. Called a strike, 2-2. Kirk did not like that call. The strike box tends to agree with him. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes instead of 3-1.
But again, that's a really tough sinker. It starts off the plate outside, ends up on the inside black.
Springer on first, 1 out, 1-1 game, and the pitch. Outside and low, ball 3.
I forgot to mention that inside started on, or it ended up on the inside black, but it ended up above the strikes for sure.
Full count. Wonder if Springer takes off here. He's been checked on twice. The 3-2. Springer does go, and the pitch is down and away. Ball 4. So no stolen base for George Springer because it's a walk for Alejandro Kirk, and it's first and second for the Blue Jays, 1 out.
And just Brian Woo's 5th walk of the season. That's a rarity for him. You can see the frustration on his face, not used to doing that.
Woo in his career, fewer than 50 walks in over 225 innings. Right-hander looks at second, deals to Will Wagner. Left-handed hitter hits it up the middle, a base hit into right center field. Springer had to wait. He gets the stop sign at third from Carlos Fablis, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Well, that was actually a pretty good job from George Springer. Wagner hit that ball on a line. He had to make sure that Mastroboni wouldn't catch that ball out at second base. Look, you still have 1 out in this inning, bases loaded. I don't mind that play over there from Carlos Fablis.
I really like the mentality from Will Wagner. Brian Woo, like you said, never walks anyone. So right after he walks a guy, get ready for a first pitch strike, and he was.
I guarantee that when Will Wagner was walking to home plate, he could visibly see that Woo was upset out there. He knew that he was going to come in the strike zone, and he certainly did.
Bases loaded, 1 out, 1-1 game. Bottom of the second. The pitch to Alan Roden. High, ball 1. That one looked like it got the zone. A little bit of a bad break for Woo. Roden, a .265 hitter, .739 OPS, 49 Major League at-bats. The 1-0. Swing and a fly ball, left field. Arozarena backpedaling, still going back, makes the catch just in front of the track. Springer tags, he'll jog home, and the Blue Jays take the lead again. Sac fly for Alan Roden. It's 2-1 Toronto.
Nice job from Alan Roden. He knows with that run at third base, you have to get something and try to lift it to the outfield, doing a perfect job going with that fastball away. And the Blue Jays are up 2-1 now with 2 outs in this inning.
5th Major League RBI for Alan Roden, like you said, 2-1. Still Kirk on second and Wagner on first with Bo Bichette up to the plate. He leads the team with 11 runs batted in so far. Bo with a single, a stolen base, and a run scored in the first. Woo sets, glove just above his belt. A look at Kirk at second, and the pitch to Bichette. Swing and a mile-high pop-up. Takes a look at the roof, and dropping back down in shallow right, it's caught by the right fielder Raley to end the inning. The Blue Jays get a run on 2 hits. Alan Roden drives in George Springer. It's 2-1 Blue Jays. We head to the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, never the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
In time! What a play, Bo Bichette!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. It's the 3rd inning, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Glovertown and Clarenville, Newfoundland. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 8-9-1 for the Mariners in the top of the third inning. Blue Jays leading 2-1. Bowden Francis will pitch to Ben Williamson, rookie playing in just his 4th Major League game. Williamson, the second rounder by Seattle in 2023, steps into the righty box. The pitch from Francis. Inside, ball 1.
There's that fastball again that runs arm side high. Have to get on top of that thing. Maybe throw a breaking ball here to try to figure out that release point.
The 1-0. Called a strike. That looked like the slider. It was. 4th pitch for Francis. 1-1.
And you can tell he's fighting that release point on the fastball. His sliders looked good. His breaking balls looked good. And his splitters look good. But that fastball command is a little bit erratic.
1-1 pitch is called a strike again. It's 1-2. Went off speed with the splitter that time. Williamson 3 for 11 to start his Major League career. 1-2 pitch. Chopped to first base on 2 hops picked up by Guerrero. He'll race Williams into the bag and beat him there for the first down.
Nice job by Vlad. As soon as you underhand that baseball to a moving pitcher, it makes the play more difficult. So Vlad just said, I'm taking it myself. I'm not messing around here. Gets an easy out, number 1.
Third ground out induced by Bowden Francis. He gets a new baseball, and with 1 out, here's the number 9 hitter, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Third baseman Will Wagner playing in halfway onto the infield turf. Here's the pitch to Crawford. Left-handed hitter takes strike 1.
Nice job just dotting that fastball down and away. Quick first strike on J.P. Crawford.
Bit of a slow start to the year for Crawford, but he can be dangerous. 2 years ago was really good. 0-1. Breaking ball low. Looked pretty good, but it's called a ball. 1 strike.
He's definitely got some juice. No home runs this season, but he was 2 for 5 with a couple of RBIs in his last game.
Hit 19 homers in 2023, his best offensive season. 1-1. Fastball in there, called strike 1 and 2.
Didn't like that call. But that clip, that top corner, that top inside corner, almost impossible to hit.
1 out and the base is empty. The outfield moving more towards the opposite field now. With 2 strikes, George Springer has moved from right center over toward left center. Francis steals home. Swing and a fly ball foul.
I don't know J.P. Crawford's 2-strike approach, but the way that outfield has shifted now to the third base side of second base, I feel like the Blue Jays know that he does have that going the other way type of 2-strike approach.
Another 1-2. Called strike 3. Freezes him with a splitter, and there are 2 down.
Such a good pitch. J.P. Crawford shaking his head, saying something to Jansen Visconti, but that was a great pitch. That whole ball was actually in the strike zone. I'm not sure what he's shaking his head about, but that was a good pitch.
For Francis, his 4th strikeout as he's gone once through the order now. Only mistake the home run allowed to Rowdy Tellez. 2-1 Blue Jays, 2 outs, bases empty, top of the third. The pitch to Julio Rodriguez. Fouled right back, 0-1.
I think hitters are sometimes just frustrated with the whole package, the frustrating season, the fact that he's coming into this ballgame hitting .222. Maybe he should have swung at that pitch and hammered it the other way. You never know why guys shake their heads.
Rodriguez also off to a slow start, batting below 200, though he does have 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. 0-1. Breaking ball, just high. 1 strike. Rodriguez is a little bit of a notorious slow starter. He's done this a couple years before 2025. 1-1 pitch. Fastball for a strike 1 and 2. But perhaps some of the concern from those around the Mariners or elsewhere, he didn't end up really bouncing back that well last year. Finished with a career worst 734 OPS. 2 outs in the 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The good thing about Julio Rodriguez, though, from a Mariners point of view, is he does have the power still. He still has the speed on the bases, 5 stolen bases already this season. So he does have other things where he can contribute, but that average is a little bit concerning.
He's a really good defender out in center field as well. Rodriguez looking out at Francis, who winds and offers. Swinging a bouncing ball up the middle. Running stop Bichette. Sidearm throw to first in time. And that'll do it for the top of the third. Another 1-2-3 for Bowden Francis. We go to the bottom half of the inning. It's 2-1 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hello, it's me, Katie Nolan, host of Casuals on the SiriusXM Podcast Network. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm joined by some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment to break down our favorite news stories from the sports world and beyond. It really doesn't matter what level of sports fandom or knowledge you have, just bring what you've got. We're all here to have fun and learn together. No judgments. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Love you. Mean it.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and always on the SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. When home improvement projects are throwing you a curveball, talk to the folks at Timbermart before you begin your next job. They've got the material and know-how to make sure you have all your bases covered. Timbermart, Canada's building center. Our technical directors tonight, Tom Young, Christian Ciannini, and Tristan Marcagiani. Joe Ali is our host and producer, alongside Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. 2-1 Blue Jays. Brian Wu kicks off the bottom of the third by pitching to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Called strike. Guerrero 0 for 1 so far today, although his ground out in the first did advance Bo Bichette to third before the sac fly by Santander. 0-1. Swinging a fly ball center field. Racing back Rodriguez. Turns, backpedals, makes the catch in front of the warning track. 1 out.
And again, that sinker from Wu just missed the barrel. A lot like Barger earlier on in the ball game. It just missed the barrel. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would have hit that ball 450 feet if that was a four-seam fastball. But a nice pitch from Brian Wu.
Wu trying to have a clean inning. That's the first time today he's retired the leadoff hitter, so a good start to this frame. Now he faces switch hitter Anthony Santander. No registered at-bats today. A sac fly for Santander in the first. And the pitch home. Swinging a deep drive right field. Raley going back. Warning track. Makes the catch as he backs into the wall. Another near miss for the Blue Jays. It's got to be their third or fourth fly ball that ended up being caught within 10 to 15 feet of the wall.
Yeah, again, Santander was right on that fastball, but the sinker from Wu has so much movement, but that it just kind of sunk away from that barrel. I mean, that pitch is just so effective. That's why he throws so many fastballs.
2 quick outs in this inning. Pitch here to Andres Jimenez. Called a strike, 0-1.
Not to mention his sinker is 97 miles an hour.
Doesn't hurt. Part of the reason he throws 3/4 fastballs, mixes in slider, change, sweeper every once in a while. The 0-1. Bouncer to first base, charging in Teleso, glove on the forehand side, step on the bag, and end the inning. How about a 1-2-3 for Brian Wu? In 5 pitches, we go to the 4th. The Blue Jays leading the Mariners 2-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hey, do you ever wonder how life might look if you'd saved a little more? Well, April is Financial Literacy Month, and Planned to AT is here to help. We're a nonprofit helping young people improve their futures through financial wellness education. Our fun, simple workshops help students build healthy money habits and get them ready for the workforce. Text PTAT to 26989 to learn how you and your company can get involved. That's PTAT to 26989.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Say you will.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. 4th inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. 2-1, the Blue Jays lead the Mariners in this series opener. Bowden Francis back on the hill to face the DH Jorge Polanco. Polanco, typically an infielder, typically a switch hitter, has been limited to DHing and pretty much only batting left. First pitch, called a strike, 0-1. He's got a minor oblique injury that does not feel comfortable when he swings right-handed, but feels okay when he swings left-handed. Right on left, the 0-1. Swing and a pop-up off the handle, middle of the infield. Bichette calls off Wagner, makes the catch just in front of second, 1 out.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. Every Tuesday night, wings are just half price. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome. How about that Yankees-Rays game? That's a weird one.
That's a weird one. I was going to go somewhere else, but let's start there. That is a weird one. The Yankees are on the road at their own spring training ballpark, up 1-0 on the Rays. Here's the pitch to Cal Raleigh, and he hammers it down the right field line. Takes a hop and bangs into the wall in the right field corner. Raleigh around first. Throw from Barger into second, and he got him. Addison Barger cuts down Cal Raleigh, looking to advance a single into a double. There are 2 down.
Well, Addison Barger actually bobbled that ball in right field just a little bit. That tells you how good that throw is from Barger. But as Cal Raleigh was rounding first base, he's looking in right field. He's looking at Addison Barger, and I'm sure he saw him bobble it just a little bit. But what a throw from Addison Barger out in the corner.
Barger with the hardest recorded throw in Blue Jays StatCast era history last season, and he comes up with an absolute seed there to Bichette. 2 outs, bases empty. First pitch high to Randy Arozarena, ball 1. So as you were saying, Yankees raise a weird one. It's 1-0 Yankees on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out-of-Town scoreboard. Trent Grisham with the RBI single. The difference in that one. Next pitch to Arozarena, called a strike. 1-1. 2 outs, so we'll get to more of the details coming up next time we check the Out-of-Town scoreboard. But the Cubs and Diamondbacks today with maybe the craziest game of the year. The 1-1. Arozarena takes a strike. It's 1-2. And I'm going to leave it at that. Our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. It's 2-1 Blue Jays. 2 outs, top of the 4th, bases empty. after Barger threw out Raleigh, trying to stretch a single into a double. 1-2. Rosarena takes up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I like that pitch. A little bit intent, coming in, up and in. Wasn't quite close enough for that kind of reaction, but a good four-seam fastball above the strike zone from Bowden Francis.
Now the 2-2 offer. And he hit him. Lost control there of the splitter, and it caught Rosarena, looks like, on the belt near his left hip. Rosarena seems to be in a little bit of discomfort. Talking with Alejandro Kirk for a moment. Still hasn't started heading down to first.
Yeah, it looked like it might have caught that hip bone just a little bit. Randy Rosarena and Alejandro Kirk are having a laugh. He gives a thumbs up, so I'm sure he's fine.
Those two buddies, Alejandro Kirk, Randy Rosarena, both represent Mexico. Rosarena originally from Cuba, but played for Mexico at the last World Baseball Classic.
He's officially a Mexican resident?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Or at least was. I don't know if actively he still is a Mexican resident. 2 outs, runner on first. Pitch to Luke Raley is hammered down the right field line. That one's going to hook foul into the second deck, just under the name of Jose Bautista out there on the Ring of Excellence, 0-1.
Well, Bowden Francis got lucky there. He's lucky that fastball was in off the plate. Raley was all over it.
2-1 Blue Jays with 2 outs in the top of the fourth. Rosarena with a big lead off first. Step off and throw to first, and a dive back from Randy Rosarena.
It definitely looks like Rosarena is about to steal second base. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries.
He's a guy with 4 consecutive 20 stolen base seasons.
He has 6 already this season.
Big lead once more. The 0-1 is fouled off the glove of Kirk. Rosarena wasn't going anywhere. 0-2.
You can see that left leg of Rosarena, that push-off leg is really flexing. So it's almost like he wants to get a jump. He wants to take off. Just hasn't quite found the right time.
Had a brief talk with Eric Young Jr., the first base coach, Christopher Negron, the third base coach for the Mariners. 0-2. Popped up, third base side foul. That's out of play.
Raleigh shaking his head. He missed that fastball. That was a four-seamer right down Broadway.
And a big applause as a fan in a Red Canada 23 jersey made a catch off a railing ricochet. Francis into the set, glove at his belt. The pitch. Swing and a deep drive right field corner. That's down in fair territory, bouncing up against the wall. Barger throws it into second, close play, and now Rosarena trying to go to the plate. Bo Bichette throws home. They have Rosarena and a rundown. Alejandro Kirk gets the throw from Wagner, and he will tag Rosarena to end the inning. As the throw went into second a hair later, Rosarena got too aggressive with his turnaround third base. Bo Bichette zipped it to the plate. Alejandro Kirk did the rest. And somehow, with 2 hits in the inning and a hit batter, the Mariners do not score. They leave one on. It's 2-1 Blue Jays, middle of the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. 365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Strike three. Kevin Gausman strikes out the side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the fourth inning at Rogers Center, and after 2 outs on the base paths from the Seattle Mariners, the Blue Jays maintain a 2-1 lead with George Springer leading off. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue on hand. The pitch from Brian Wu is drilled to left field. A base hit for Springer, bouncing onto the warning track. George Springer around first. He'll jog into second with a first pitch of the inning double.
How about that? That's got to feel good for George Springer. He was all over that sinker. Barreled that thing up on a line down the line.
We said it already, but I'll say it again. That left wrist looking pretty good right now for George Springer.
2 for 2 tonight already.
Scored a run the first time he got on in the second inning. That's why the Blue Jays are up 2-1. Now he's in scoring position for Addison Barger, who threw out Cal Raleigh last inning, and his second throw of the inning helped catch Arozarena in the rundown. The pitch. Swing and a deep drive. Right field and foul. Absolutely smoked. It's 0-1.
Well, I don't know what hit was harder. Rowdy Telez's homer or that ball right there, that foul ball off the bat of Addison Barger, but that was a missile. 110 miles an hour off the bat. What was Rowdy?
Rowdy was 113. Just a little bit.
I knew they looked similar.
The 0-1. Swing and a looping line drive left center field. Arozarena into the gap to cut it off. Springer tagging from second. He's going for third. Throw bounces in late. Really good recognition from George Springer, who slaps the dirt. Arozarena was moving away from third base towards center field. He had to catch that spin and toss it in, and George Springer wisely takes the extra 90 feet.
Yeah, there are very few guys that are able to do that on a fly ball to left field, but George Springer, one of the smart ones, rushing back to that second base bag and taking off. What a play.
So the infield in now. Bottom of the fourth, 1 out, 2-1 Blue Jays with Springer on third. Alejandro Kirk is the hitter. He walked his first time. Wu's pitch. Swing and a miss. The rare non-fastball there as Wu flipped in the slider first pitch. Right-hander set, glove just above his belt. Now he's going to step off.
Carlos Fablis, the third base coach, was actually right on the back of George Springer, probably telling him, hey, you're going on contact or you're not going on contact, see it through, those types of things.
1 out and the 0-1 to Kirk. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Not every time, but sometimes the general rule is nobody out, you don't go on contact. 1 out, you do go on contact. But it can change from runner to runner. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a ground ball. Base hit up the middle into center field. Springer scores. Kirk stops at first, and it's 3-1 Blue Jays. RBI single for the Blue Jay catcher.
Well, that's what happens when you bring the infield in. It's really hard to get those ground balls and make a play on him. Master Boney did everything he could at second base to dive to knock that baseball down. But even if he catches that baseball there, even if he knocks it down, George Springer still would have scored from third base.
Ball popped up after it was lined off the mound and landed in shallow center. Kirk on first, the pitch to Will Wagner. Swing and a ground ball through the whole left side, base hit. Kirk up to second. Wagner stops at first. He's 2 for 2, jumping on the first pitch he's seen in both of his at-bats today.
So on that Alejandro Kirk single up the middle, we were talking about Carlos Fablis whispering something to George Springer. That ball hit the ground, and George Springer didn't go. So that means he wasn't going on contact, but as soon as that ball got up the middle, he took off. So I'm sure that Carlos Fablis had said, hey, see it through, which means see it to the outfield on the ground. Big hit from Alejandro Kirk.
Blue Jays have seen back-to-back ground balls through. Kirk's RBI single, and then Wagner singling on the next pitch. That's going to prompt the pitching coach, Pete Woodward, to go out to the mound right now and talk to his starter, Brian Wu.
Blue Jays are doing a good job just getting the barrel to the baseball.
Brian Wu throws a lot of strikes, throws a lot of fastballs. We mentioned that. And Toronto has been aggressive early in counts. It's worked out for them so far. 3 runs on 6 hits. If you're the Mariners, you probably feel like you should have more runs, but 2 different Mariners thrown out on the base paths last inning. And it's 3-1 Blue Jays with runners on first and second and 1 out, bottom of the 4th. Alan Roden is the hitter. Wu looks at second, kicks, and fires. Inside, ball 1. Sac fly for Roden in the second inning, scored the second Blue Jays run. The 1-0. Called strike.
Such a tough fastball. Wu started that fastball right at the front hip of Alan Roden, and it just broke back over the middle, the inner third of that plate.
Here's 1-1. Down and in. Two of the younger guys on both of these rosters facing off right now, 25-year-old Alan Roden and 25-year-old Brian Wu. The 2-1. Called strike. Was the changeup there at the knees.
Roden didn't like that call, but that's a very hittable pitch for him. Lefties love that slow stuff down and in. I'm sure if he swung at that, he would have barreled it up.
First and second, 1 out. 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th, and the 2-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Doubled up on the changeup, and a rare strikeout for Alan Roden, 2 down.
I'm sure Alan Roden's thinking, come on, man, you throw your fastball 74% of the time. You just threw me 3 changeups.
Maybe that's the message from Pete Woodworth, who had come out just before the Roden at-bat. They're jumping all over your fastball early. You got to try and mix it up. First and second, 2 down. A run in this inning. It's 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th. Bo Bichette to the plate. He's 1 for 2. The pitch. Called strike. Right back to the heater at 97. Placed it right at the knees. 0-1. Wu peeks at second. 0-1. Chopped to third base. Backing up and fielding Williamson. He throws over to second for the out to end the inning. The Blue Jays score a run on 3 hits. Leadoff double George Springer. He's knocked in by Alejandro Kirk. Toronto leaves 2 on, but leads 3-1 as we go to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From new artist discovery, you look like you love me, to icons curating their very own channels.
Hey, this is Chris Stapleton.
I'm Carrie Underwood.
This is Kenny Chesney.
Just say we did. SiriusXM is the destination for artists who live country music. The next generation. The legends.
I walk the line.
One place, multiple channels. Be country. Check out the full lineup on the SiriusXM app. Just search country.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Out of here! Go Tommy Connect!
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
We begin our quest for another championship right now. Winning is everything. It's all there is.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The UFC is on SiriusXM. Hear all the action live from the Octagon every weekend on SiriusXM Fight Nation Channel 156.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight, whether it be on the Sportsnet Radio Network, the app.ca, or through your Apple TV or MLB TV subscriptions. The Blue Jays leading 3-1 over the Seattle Mariners, top of the 5th inning, and the former Blue Jay, Rowdy Tellez, leads it off.
I would imagine that he's not going to get a four-seam fastball right down Broadway this time.
Tellez with a solo homer last time up. First pitch is a curveball off the plate outside, 1-0. For Rowdy, it was his second home run of the season and his 5th RBI. Made the Mariners out of camp after entering spring on a minor league deal, 1-0. Just inside, 2 balls, no strikes.
And now you know Rowdy's looking four-seam fastball right here. Wouldn't mind flipping in a split finger. See if you can get him to roll over one.
Big left-handed hitter rests the bat on his left shoulder. 2-0. Curveball outside, ball 3.
And that's the risk you take when you're in a fastball count, when you're already behind in the count 2-0. You have to throw a strike with that off-speed stuff if you're going to throw off-speed there.
3-0 pitch. Fastball for a strike. Tellez, a 30th rounder by the Blue Jays in 2013, but they offered him a significant overslot signing bonus of $850,000 to pull him away from his commitment to the University of Southern California. Next pitch high and outside, ball 4. Had some really nice years with the Blue Jays. You look at the 2021 season, or pardon me, the 2019 season, he hits 21 home runs. And then in 2020, the abbreviated year, was one of their best hitters as the Blue Jays made their first run to the playoffs with this core.
And he was also a fan favorite. I think a lot of people appreciated what he did for this city, for the team.
Tellez leading off first. Guerrero a couple steps off the bag, and the pitch is lined to right field by Mastroboni. That's a base hit. Barger in, fields it on 2 hops. Tellez up to second. And back-to-back base runners for the Mariners. First and second, no outs.
The thing that I noticed with Tellez before the ball game when they were taking batting practice, there were a lot of fans yelling, "Rowdy, Rowdy." I don't know if it's his name is very memorable, so maybe that's part of it. But I think he appreciates being in Toronto, the fans as well. He was doing a good job signing autographs, taking pictures, all that good stuff.
Tellez in scoring position, 3-1 Blue Jays. First and second for the Mariners with nobody out. Francis looking for a ball on the ground here. Looks at second and now deals to Ben Williamson. Breaking ball low, ball 1. Tellez did really burst onto the scene as a Blue Jay. He had 6 doubles in his first 3 games with Toronto. 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. Ended up being traded by the Blue Jays mid-2021 to Milwaukee. They brought back Trevor Richards and Bowden Francis, who's on the mound right now. He looks at Tellez, the 1-1. Hit in the air, right field. Coming in now, curling back toward the line is Barger. He'll make the catch. Tellez tagging from second, trying for third. Barger's throw bounces in, and he got him by a mile. Do not test Addison Barger. 2 down.
I mean, as Rowdy Tellez was going back to the bag to tag, I was thinking to myself, there's no way he's actually going to go, right? He just saw what he did twice in this ball game already. Addison Barger with an absolute seed to third base. Whoa, Wagner had to wait for Rowdy Tellez to make that tag. What a throw for the 3rd time today.
Second outfield assist for Barger, and like you said, 3rd really good throw, and he had him by a mile. 2 down, a runner on first. And I think Bowden Francis may be buying some dinner for Addison Barger a little bit later today. J.P. Crawford to the plate. Francis from the stretch. Steps off and throws over to first to dive back in by Mastroboni.
That fly ball really wasn't even all that deep. I'm not sure what Rowdy Tellez was thinking there.
Yeah, that is a puzzling one to me. The pitch. Crawford takes it high and outside, ball 1. I mean, obviously there's a huge advantage if you can get there to be on third with 1 out, but I just don't see why anything but that was going to happen with the way Addison Barger's throwing today. 1-0 pitch. High and outside, ball 2. Madison Barger's got arm strength to contend with pretty much anyone in Major League Baseball. Rowdy Tellez has first percentile sprint speed this season, according to StatCast. 2-0. Swing and a miss. 2-1.
Nice pitch. Getting back in that count. A well-located four-seamer right there from Bowden Francis.
You do have to attack J.P. Crawford. 2 years ago, led the American League in walks. The 2-1 pitch. Called a strike, splitter on the outside edge. Same pitch that he set Crawford down on in the third. It's 2-2.
And Crawford again shaking his head. Didn't like that one either, but both of those pitches were very clearly strikes.
So do you go right back there?
I don't know.
Francis in the set, runner on first, 2 outs. The 2-2. Fouled back. He went with a fastball on the outside edge, and Crawford got under it, flipped it over the netting behind home plate.
I think that was a good choice. Sometimes Bowden tends to get splitter happy. Mixing in that good four-seamer at 94 at the top of the strike zone is a good idea. Change the eye level a little bit. Now you can go back to the split finger.
The 2-2 again. Outside with a heater, ball 3.
He's been really good this season, especially at mixing up his pitches. Not really throwing that split too often or his off-speed pitch too often. Last year he would get in a rut and just throw that split finger a little bit too often.
The 3-2, runner off from first, and it's fouled back. With a full count and 2 outs, Mastrobuoni was going on the pitch. He'll jog back. He's not being held on by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who will play deep at first with the left-handed hitting Crawford up. Francis peeks over his left shoulder at the runner Mastrobuoni and sets. His payoff pitch. Swing and a liner caught by Guerrero, who goes down to the seat of his pants as he makes the play to end the inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left. A heck of a throw from Addison Barger, helping Bowden Francis to another scoreless frame. 3-1 Blue Jays, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hello, it's me, Katie Nolan, host of Casuals on the SiriusXM Podcast Network. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm joined by some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment to break down our favorite news stories from the sports world and beyond. It really doesn't matter what level of sports fandom or knowledge you have, just bring what you've got. We're all here to have fun and learn together. No judgments. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Love you. Mean it.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, Sean Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365. Coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. 3-1 Toronto, bottom of the 5th inning. Appreciate you tuning in tonight alongside Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leads it off for the Blue Jays, 0 for 2 tonight. Toronto with a lot of traffic, though, against Brian Wu. Vladdy trying to join in on the party. 6 hits so far for the Blue Jays. Wu winds and delivers. First pitch strike. Vladdy with a ground out to first and a line out to center field. Here's the 0-1. Bounced away from Raleigh. 1 ball, 1 strike. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. In addition to Chris and myself, Show Ali, the host and producer, Tom Young, Christian Chiniti, and Tristan Marcagiani, our technical directors. 1-1 pitch. Hit foul. Vladdy ahead of that 95-mile-per-hour sinker. It's 1-2.
It's been a pretty good sequence so far from Wu. Threw that sinker in, slider away, went back to the sinker in off the plate. I'm interested to see what he does here.
His 1-2. Inside. Went with the slider. Pardon me, the changeup there, and it ran in the direction of Vlad Guerrero Jr. He banked out of the way. 2-2.
It's actually a pretty hard changeup. That one was 90 miles an hour. Ton of movement, though.
His 2-2. Hit foul. Guerrero just getting a piece of that on a 3/4 swing. Pitch was up and in, but he hit it into the netting.
It's almost like if Wu had a slower changeup, maybe 86, 87 miles an hour with a little bit of depth to it. That one has a lot of horizontal movement. I feel like he'd be unhittable.
Righty's 2-2. Low ball 3. That was the changeup at 91. Couldn't get Guerrero to chase. Full count.
That just seems like it's hard to me. It seems like a BP fastball. If you miss that over the middle of the plate, it just speeds up a hitter's bat.
Full count to start this inning. Wu winds and offers. Up and in, ball 4. Leadoff walk for Vlad. Let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Chris, I promised you a little bit of Cubs Diamondbacks.
I've been on the edge of my seat for like 30 minutes now.
Well, just wait, because it was a doozy. 13-11, the final score in that ball game, and one of the craziest innings in baseball history. First, it's Anthony Santander up the DH, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Today, the Cubs led 2-1 for a lot of the game until the 5th when they scored, or pardon me, the 7th, they scored 5 runs. So the Cubs were up 7-1 after the 7th. 0-1 to Santander. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'm really trying to follow along because you said it was a doozy.
So it's 7-1 Cubs. They go to the 8th inning, top of the 8th. Arizona's batting. They scored 10 runs in the inning. Eugenio Suarez hit a grand slam as a part of that. They took an 11-7 lead. The 1-1. Fouled right back, 1-2. You figure the Diamondbacks have done it. They scored 10 runs in an inning. How are you going to lose that game? Well, the Cubs come back. They score 6 in the bottom of the 8th. Seiya Suzuki with a homer in that inning. Carson Kelly, 2 homers in the game, 5 RBIs. The Cubs hit 5 homers overall. They win 13-11. And that 16-run 8th inning combined, the highest scoring inning in Wrigley Field history. 1-2 to Santander, fouled right back, still 1-2.
I'll tell you who needed a nap after that game.
Who?
The broadcasters. Ben, come on, follow along.
Everyone was thinking about the broadcasters in that game. So that one of our scores on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Around the division, the Yankees beating the Rays 1-0. Bottom of the 5th at George Steinbrenner Field. For the Blue Jays, they're up 3-1. And the 1-2 to Santander is lined down in center field, base hit. Guerrero jogs up to second. The Blue Jays have 2 aboard here, nobody out.
Well, Wu was really trying to pound Santander in during that at-bat. And that sinker just ran back over the inner third of the plate. And Santander was able to get the barrel to it and hammer that thing up the middle for a base hit.
So 2 on for the Blue Jays right now with nobody out. Andres Jimenez about to step up. Just to wrap up on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard, rest of the division, the Orioles getting hammered 7-1 right now by the Reds, bottom of the 4th inning. And the Red Sox up 6-1 on the White Sox, bottom 5. Inside move by Wu, throw to second, hits Guerrero on the leg, and he is hunched over, hopping around a little bit on second base. It got him in the backside, Vlad took a step the wrong way. I don't think Brian Wu was initially throwing that ball, but once he saw Vlad break in the wrong direction, he tried to make the throw, but yanked it away from Crawford, the infielder, and into the backside of Guerrero, and it got him almost square in the rear end and rolled away to the right. Next pitch is hit high by Andres Jimenez. A fly ball, shallow right near the line. And the catch made by Luke Raley, who tosses it back in, 1 out. Vlad with hands on his hips at second base.
That was an interesting play. It was almost like J.P. Crawford was running to second base, and Wu didn't really have a place to throw that baseball because Vlad was kind of following him as J.P. Crawford was going to second base. It's a tough throw for a pitcher. I would have probably thrown that ball in the center field.
So would have Wu if not for Guerrero getting in the way. It's first and second, 1 out. 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 5th. Here's George Springer. 2 hits, 2 runs scored today. Wu's pitch. Outside. "120th time in his career that George Springer has faced off against the Seattle Mariners. Of course, playing them for a while as an AL West member with the Astros. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Springer with 2 of the 7 hits for the Blue Jays, 3 runs in on Wu, but the pitch count very solid for him right now. That was just his 66th. The next pitch called a strike, and pitch 67 gets him ahead 1-2.
It almost looked like George Springer was thinking, there's no way he's coming inside. I've been hammering inside sinkers all day long. Sure enough, Wu throws that sinker inside.
With 1 out, the 1-2. Fouled right back. Went inside with the hard changeup. George Springer hit it off the handle into the screen behind home plate.
It seems like Wu's really comfortable throwing that right-on right changeup. That one right there kind of got in on the hands of George Springer.
Typically, he's more breaking ball to righties, changeup to lefties, but he's flipped the script a little bit today. Inside move again and a throw to second, and Guerrero is back in, and Vladdy throws his arms in the air. I don't think he's too happy being checked on twice.
Well, you don't want to get hit again, do you? Now he's telling Wu to throw the baseball. Throwing it in the wrong direction.
Mastrobuoni talking to Vlad for a moment. Guerrero leads off of second base. Mastrobuoni, the second baseman, holds him on. 1-2 pitch inside. Springer leaned back out of the way. 2-2.
Nice take. Springer's really seeing the ball well right now. You can tell he's comfortable in that batter's box, even after the 3 off days.
2 hits today have him up to 20 for 50 on the year, a 400 average. The 2-2. Foul tip, strike 3. 98 elevated, and that's a great pitch from Wu for a strikeout.
Yeah, that's so tough. With so much life through the strike zone, and then you add in that velo 98, almost impossible to hit.
I'm actually not even sure Springer got a piece of that. Thought I heard 2 sounds, but that might have gone right by him. Either way, it's Wu's second strikeout. And the Blue Jays in danger of not cashing in here. A walk and a single to start the inning, but a flyout and strikeout since. Wu deals now to Addison Barger. Hit foul off of Barger's own body, 0-1.
There was that right-on-left changeup. I feel like the right-on-left changeup moves just a little bit more from him. I like that pitch right there.
The 0-1. Shot foul. Liner into the 200 level down the left field line. 0-2.
He barreled that one up, but he was way behind it.
Yeah, must have been sitting that changeup again, or maybe one of the breaking balls. Addison Barger 0 for 2 today, and now in a no-ball 2-strike hole. Wu looking in for the sign. Comes set just above the belt. First and second, here's his 2-strike offering. Swinging a liner, foul. Nice catch by the attendant down the right field line.
Sign him up.
That won't be an out for the Mariners, though. Instead, Addison Barger goes back to the plate.
If this was the Savannah Bananas, does that count as an out? I think it does, doesn't it?
In the crowd, it does.
Oh, it's the crowd.
I don't know.
Not the attendant.
I don't know what the attendance jurisdiction is. Another 0-2. Broken bat flare, right center field. Charging in Rayleigh and Rodriguez, and Julio Rodriguez with a leaping catch to end the inning. The Blue Jays put on the first two with a walk and a hit, but do not score. They leave both Vladdy and Santander on base. It's 3-1 Toronto as we go to the sixth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The two men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre.
Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. Oh yeah, let's go Blue Jays. Thank you for hanging out with us today here on Toronto Sports Insider. Now's the time of the show. Please let us know, where are you watching from? Where is Blue Jays Nation gathering from all over the world here on Toronto Sports Insider? You can let us know in the chat. Let us know your city and province in Canada, city and state in the United States, or international. Let us know your city and your country of where you're watching from. And you can click the link in our website, torontosportsinsider.com. Check out all of our awesome merchandise, as well as all of the features on our website. We have a bunch of cool stuff, like a schedule for all of the Toronto sports teams and when they're playing and when we'll be live here on Toronto Sports Insider. As well, please click the live viewer tab on our website and put yourself on our map and find out where the rest of the world is watching the Blue Jays from. We just recently crossed over 1,000 page views, and we just launched this less than a month ago. Thank you, insiders. Thanks for letting us know where you're watching from. Now let's get back to the baseball. Come on, Vladdy. Come on, Bo. Come on, boys. Let's get some runs.
The ball game, the command of that fastball was just a little bit spotty. But when he's had to make pitches, he's made pitches, and he's had a ton of help from that guy out in right field as well.
Addison Barger with a couple stars in the scorebook today. 2 outfield assists from right field. It's been very helpful for the Blue Jays the last 2 innings. Francis winds and offers. Julio Rodriguez lifts the first pitch way high above shortstop. Bo Bichette creeping toward the second base bag. Backpedals and brings it in. 1 out.
Well, if you're Bowden Francis, you take that. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 6th inning. A big first out.
Both guys very efficient today. Francis entered this 6th inning with 66 pitches. Brian Wu 74 pitches on the day.
There's only one thing better than a first pitch, first out pop out.
A second pitch.
No, a 3-0 pop up.
First pitch to Jorge Polanco, called a strike, 0-1.
That might be one of the best feelings as a pitcher, a 3-0 pop up.
3-0 pop up. Yeah. Francis kicks and offers. Down and away, ball 1. First to 3 for the Blue Jays and Mariners. It feels like these two teams have been linked the last couple of years, both in a similar spot in the American League. 1-1. Bounce 2-1. Of course, there was that playoff matchup in 2022, but Seattle has been right around the playoff picture for the last while, finishing a game out 3 of the last 4 years. The Blue Jays have been just in many years in terms of the playoff picture. The 2-1. Lined foul right side, 2-2. And so these teams find themselves again in a similar spot to start the year. 11-8 Blue Jays, 10-9 Mariners. Both teams led by strong pitching. And Toronto with the early advantage here in the series, up 3-1 in game 1.
And the Mariners have a little bit of a younger pitching staff.
2-2. lined up the middle. A base hit for Polanco as it one hops into center.
They have a lot of flamethrowers. A lot of guys that are mid to upper 90s, really exciting to watch. Blue Jays are obviously a little bit older, a little bit smarter with their pitching styles. I mean, I like watching both.
Bowden Francis, the youngest starter for the Blue Jays, or at least entering the season. 28-year-olds on the rubber, peeks over at first base where Polanco is, and now deals to Cal Raleigh. Up and in, ball one. These two franchises, though, no matter what, will always be linked. They entered Major League Baseball together in 1977 as the 25th and 26th teams or franchises in Major League history. 1-0. Called strike 1-1. Both had tried for teams for years. You had the Seattle Pilots with a one-year stop years before in the Pacific Northwest. Toronto at one point looked like they might bring the San Francisco Giants to town, among other teams. 1-1. Fouled back 1-2. And eventually they both end up with expansion franchises of their own.
Two beautiful cities and well-deserving as well.
Blue Jays, of course, with 2 World Series titles. Mariners still looking for their first. The 1-2. Raleigh swings and misses. Strike 3. Big punch out for Bowden Francis. 2 down.
That is a scary pitch right there. You can see Cal Raleigh watching the replay on that big Jumbotron out there. He wants that pitch back. They were trying to elevate up and out of the strike zone, and Bowden Francis threw a 4-seamer about thigh high. Luckily, Cal Raleigh was behind it. It's a powerful dude up there.
8 home runs for Raleigh, but he's set down. Second time he's punched out today. Pitch to Randy Arozarena is hit on the ground right at the shortstop Bichette. Underhand flip to second. Brought in by Jimenez to end the inning. Bowden Francis with the scoreless frame around the 1-out single. It leaves a runner on. It's 3-1 Blue Jays, middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tonight on Sirius XM Sports.
It's win or go home tonight, the NBA play-in scenario. Tune in now as in the Eastern Conference. The Miami Heat visit the Atlanta Hawks, followed by the Western Conference showdown between the Dallas Mavericks and Memphis Grizzlies on your home for the best coverage of pro basketball. NBA Radio, Sirius XM Channel 86, and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports. Wherever you are, your team plays here. It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the Sirius XM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Just search for your favorite club.
Your home for golf's biggest events is PGA Tour Radio.
It's a Grand Slam roar at Augusta National. Rory McIlroy, he's the 6th in the history of the game to enter golf's greatest group.
Deep down, I always believed that I had the game to win here at Augusta. You know, it was touch and go at times today, but thankfully I was able to get the job done.
PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back in downtown Toronto, the Blue Jays and the Mariners in game 1 of their 3-game series. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 3-1 for Toronto. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, and another inning for the right-hander, Brian Wu. He'll face the bottom third of the Blue Jay order. One of the more productive parts of the order today. Alejandro Kirk, Will Wagner, and Alan Roden will hit. Those 3 combined have 3 hits, a walk, and an RBI. Make that 2 RBIs. Kirk has one of those driven in. Here's the pitch. Swing and a ground ball hit right at the third baseman, Ben Williamson. Up with it, the throw to first. In time, 1 pitch, 1 out.
Just 75 pitches for Brian Wu. 77 pitches for Bowden Francis through his 6 innings. Really well-pitched ball game.
Brian Wu walking back up the hill. He's going to pitch to Will Wagner now, who swung at the first pitch each of his first 2 times up and come up with singles both times. Wu winds and the pitch. Called a strike. Shocked it didn't go after that one. A changeup bottom middle of the zone, 0-1.
Yeah, flipped in a changeup. Like I said, that right on left changeup, though, from Wu has a lot more movement, it seems like. It seems like he's able to get the extension that he needs.
Now the 0-1. Check swing, pitch up and in. Appeal down to third, no swing, says Brock Ballou. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, if he's not going to swing at the first pitch, why not swing at the second pitch, right?
2 hits for Wagner. Have him back over the Mendoza line, batting .222 on the year. 1-1 pitch. Fouled back, his first swing of the at-bat. It's 1-2. Let's go quickly to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Yankees still up 1-0 on the Rays, bottom 6. Red Sox up 6-2 on the White Sox, bottom 6. And the Orioles continue to trail the Reds 7-1. 1-2 pitch. Lined foul, and it skips just past Carlos Fabulous, Blue Jays third base coach. It's a return for Austin Hayes to Baltimore, as he's the left fielder now for the Cincinnati Reds. He's got a hit, but Cincinnati's lead is powered by Ellie De La Cruz and Matt McLean, both with 3-run homers. 1-2 to Wagner. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good eye right there. Pretty good fastball at 96, just above the strike zone. A good take from Will Wagner.
All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Wagner batting with 1 out and the bases empty. 3-1 Blue Jays. Bottom of the 6th. Brian Wu's pitch. Low and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That was borderline. But Wagner took it, and now he's got a full count. Wu's payoff pitch. Foul back. It's been really good for the Mariners that Brian Wu has been pitch efficient so far. Their bullpen is heavily taxed. 4 different relievers have gone on back-to-back days. 7 of their 8 guys pitched yesterday. 3-2 again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. On his 82nd pitch of the day, Wu gets Wagner for his 3rd strikeout of the night. There are 2 down.
It's almost like Will Wagner thought, and I would have thought the same thing standing in that box. This guy doesn't walk many people. It's a 3-2 count late in a ball game. He's probably throwing something in the strike zone, and sure enough, he throws a fastball out of the strike zone, and Will Wagner swings at it.
2 down now. Bases empty, bottom of the 6th. 3-1 for the Blue Jays over the Mariners. Wu's pitch to Alan Rodin. Swing and a high fly ball, medium depth center field. Moving back slightly, Julio Rodriguez reaches up, makes a one-handed catch, and ends the inning. Brian Wu has retired the last 6 he's faced, but the Blue Jays still on top. It's 3-1 Toronto. We head to the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart, locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
I'm Mark Carney, leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. We used to build things in this country. After the Second World War, Canada faced a housing crisis. The government stepped in and we built our way out of it. Now we're in another housing crisis. So I'll get government back into the business of building affordable homes. We'll get supply up so your costs will come down. We will build a Canada you can afford.
Authorized by the registered agent for the Liberal Party of Canada.
we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He dived, and he made the catch. The catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Pitching change for the Blue Jays as we come back in the top of the 7th inning. Toronto up 3-1, and this pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. After 6 strong innings from Bowden Francis, he leaves with Toronto on top 3-1, and into the ball game is the left-handed reliever, Mason Fluharty.
Another really high leverage situation for Fluharty. It almost seems like every one of his outings has had at least a little bit of leverage. This one might be the highest.
He's going to face a pinch hitter to start the 7th. Dylan Moore is into the game in the place of the lefty swinger Luke Raley. Moore bats right. Pitch from Fluharty, down and in, ball 1. Mason Fluharty with a 3.86 ERA, 2 earned runs allowed in 4 2/3 innings. Dylan Moore with a great start to his year, batting in the 330s with an above 1,000 OPS. 1-0. Down and in, 2 balls, no strikes.
And I've said this before. I feel like I say this every time Fluharty comes in a ball game, but the biggest thing is to slow that body down, slow that heart rate down, and just throw strike 1. I know it's easier said than done, but it's got to be done.
Shrug of the shoulders in the 2-0. Low ball 3. Missed with the cutter there. His other pitch is a sweeper.
And that's really the reason why I don't love putting young guys like this in these types of situations. It's not the stuff. It has nothing to do with the stuff. It's just the ability to slow the body down, slow the game down.
Fluharty's 3-0. Called strike, 3-1.
Nice pitch right there. Just clip the bottom of that strike zone.
Dylan Moore in his 7th season as a Seattle Mariner, batting from the right side. 3-1 pitch. In the dirt, low and in, ball 4. Leadoff walk issued to Dylan Moore, and now the tying run will come to the plate here in the 7th. And it'll be another substitution. Donovan Solano is going to come into the game. Mariners had 3 left-handed hitters lined up this inning, but now they're emptying their bench. So Rowdy Tellez is out of the game after a home run and a walk. And Solano, the veteran, enters. Fluharty staring over at first. Rocks and deals home. First pitch strike, 0-1.
Good job. Nice pitch right there. In that situation, you have to throw strike 1. And Fluharty did just that.
Solano 2 for 26 to begin his season. No extra base hits. 1 RBI, no walks, 8 strikeouts. 0-1. Just outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dylan Moore had 32 stolen bases last year, and he has 4 already this year. So he's pretty quick over there at first base.
Guerrero holding him on. Lefty Fluharty sets, staring at the runner Moore. He kicks in the 1-1. Foul tip, 1-2.
Nice pitch. Now you can expand. Now it's easy to slow that heart rate, slow the body down when you're ahead in the count 1-2.
First year with the Mariners for Donovan Solano, 2020 Silver Slugger at second. The 1-2. Bounce to the plate, block off the chest by Kirk. He ditches the mask as he goes after the ball in the dirt circle. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It doesn't seem like Dylan Moore really wants to steal second base. I've been watching him. He's not very antsy over there. The legs look relaxed.
Perhaps you want to keep him at first because that keeps the tying run at the plate. If he gets thrown out, you risk not having the tying run at the plate. 2-2. Swing and a looping line drive to second. Caught by Andres Jimenez. After catching it, he drops it on the ground, but you're not allowed to do that. So that'll be enough.
Yeah, no, I agree with the fact that Dylan Moore wasn't stealing second base. It's just, you never know. You never know if a guy's going to go or not. Some guys don't think as well as you do. Right?
I don't know. I think you're giving me a lot of credit, but I appreciate it. 1 out, top of the 7th, 3-1 Blue Jays over the Mariners. Third consecutive substitution for Seattle. Miles Mastrobuoni, the left-handed hitter, out, and the switch hitter Leo Rivas is in. Pete Walker is going to head out to the mound. This 7th inning is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Pete Walker talking the entire infield coming in before Rivas bats for the first time in this game. Switch hitter from Venezuela. Ended up playing 43 games at the major league level for the Mariners last year, his first year in the big leagues, and he's back up with Seattle this season, in part to do with Ryan Bliss, the infielder, going on the injured list.
Well, I think if Jimmy Garcia was on the mound, or Chad Green, or even Brendan Little, I don't think Pete Walker would have had that mound visit there. I think he's trying to tell him to slow the body down and really just focus on that guy standing in the batter's box.
1 out, Rivas in the righty batter's box. Runner on first. 3-1 Blue Jays, top 7. Little's pitch. Inside, ball 1. Fluharty walked the first hitter, then got the soft line out. A ground ball here would give him a good shot at ending the inning. Fluharty kicks and offers. Bounced it to the plate. Another good block by Kirk, who leaves his mask in the dust again as he scrambles onto the turf to pick up the ball. 2-0.
And there's a big hole on the right side of that infield. Andres Jimenez is shaded towards second. Vlad is holding Dylan Moore on at first base.
Kirk still getting the mask back on, so Fluharty steps to the third base side of the hill for a moment. Now steps onto the rubber once again. Extreme first base side, just his heel is attached to the rubber. Looking at Moore on first, he deals home. Misses high, ball 3, and you really can't pitch around this guy. 1 for 8 this year. Hit .233 with little power last season.
I would imagine this might be Fluharty's last batter if he loses him.
3-0. Called strike. Chad Green is loosening up, and a right-handed hitter is on deck in Ben Williamson. Mariners have emptied 3/4 of their bench in this inning. Only guy remaining is Mitch Garver, who's the backup catcher. The 3-1. Swing and a fly ball left field. Alan Roden going back onto the warning track, makes the catch. Jogging back to first base is Dylan Moore, who went all the way to second, and there are 2 outs.
And that cutter from Fluharty just got in on the hands of Rivas. And that ball was able to miss the barrel. Little lazy fly ball out to left field. A big out for Fluharty and the Blue Jays.
The last batter that Fluharty faces in this game. It's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. John Schneider out to take the baseball. Claps for Fluharty from the Rogers Center crowd, and Chad Green about to enter the game. With that, let's go back to today's host. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's check in on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Let's go to the NHL. The regular season is officially over. All 82 games for all teams officially in the books. All 16 playoff spots also booked. It all begins tomorrow. The first game of the Stanley Cup playoffs goes Saturday evening. So tomorrow we have 2 games. Blues at Jets. Puck drop just after 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific in Winnipeg. It'll be on CBC and Sportsnet. Later on tomorrow, we'll also get Avalanche at Stars. That game goes in Dallas, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, also on Sportsnet and the CBC. On Sunday, we'll have 3 games. Devils at Hurricanes goes at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. The Battle of Ontario sends at Leafs game 1. We'll go at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific Sunday evening. And the late game tomorrow night, Wild at Golden Knights, will go at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific as well. It'll be a busy night in Vegas. WrestleMania 41 will take place down the Strip that evening as well. All of these games will be on Sportsnet. Sens Leafs, meanwhile, will also be on the CBC on Sunday. On the radio, Sens Leafs game 1 will be on our flagship station, Sportsnet 590 The Fan in Toronto. Joe Bone and Jim Ralph will have the call. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert will have the pregame coverage beginning at 6 Eastern on Sunday. And post-game coverage will be covered by JD Bunkus and Sam McKee. The guys will have Leafs Talk post-game on the radio, on Sportsnet's YouTube page, and Sportsnet Plus. And in the NBA, we have one game going on right now, one of two play-in games. And right now, it's Heat at Hawks. The Heat are up 88-86 with 9.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You can watch that game right now on Sportsnet 1. The winner of that game will play the Cavaliers in the first round. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. 10th appearance of the season for the right-hander Chad Green. He's on with 2 outs, and Dylan Moore on first base. 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the 7th. Green to Ben Williamson. Foul tip, strike 1. 3.24 ERA for Chad Green. 3 earned runs in 8 1/3 innings. 7 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Here's 0-1. Hit foul, and quickly he's ahead 0-2.
And Chad Green has given up those 3 earned runs in his last. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the hits. Never mind. Forget that I said anything, Ben.
Green sets, glove at his chest. First base side of the rubber. A shrug of the shoulders in the pitch. Outside with the heater, ball 1. Sizable lead at first base for Dylan Moore. Vlad Guerrero Jr. holding him on. He takes off on the 1-2. Pitch down and away, a ball. Throw down to second. Not in time.
That was a great throw from Alejandro Kirk. I thought Dylan Moore had that bag easily, but Alejandro Kirk with the quick transfer and the perfect throw to Andres Jimenez at second base. Jays are having a look.
John Schneider has decided not to challenge.
He's made a lot of good throws this season.
For Moore, though, it's stolen base number 5 on the year. He's in scoring position, 2 down, the 2-2. Swing and a bouncing ball to short. Charging in Bichette. Throws on the run to first to end the inning. Flew Hardy and Green pitch around the leadoff walk. A scoreless top of the 7th. And as OK Blue Jays rings out at Rogers Center, it's 3-1 Toronto over Seattle. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The 2 men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He makes the catch, and the Blue Jays win the ball game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. It's been an exciting opener to the series so far. The Blue Jays leading the Seattle Mariners 3-1. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Bo Bichette will lead it off for the Blue Jays. Brian Wu on 84 pitches goes fourth time through the order here in the bottom of the seventh. Righty winds and deals home. Inside, ball one. Couple defensive changes for the Mariners after they brought in 3 bats off the bench last inning. Donovan Solano at first, Leo Rivas at second, Dylan Moore now in right. 1-0 pitch. Down and away, 2 balls, no strikes. So Rowdy Tellez out of the game, Miles Mastrobuoni out of the game, and Luke Raley out of the game. Mentioned last inning, Mitch Garver, the only player left in the dugout for the Seattle Mariners. Wu's 2-0 to Bichette. Swing and a deep drive. Left field, and that'll hook foul, 2-1.
Well, Bo Bichette was right on that slider, that hanging slider from Wu. He was just a little bit out in front. Hit that thing off the end of the bat, foul.
Now the 2-1. Inside, ball 3. Brian Wu's day nearing its end, though they needed a lot of pitches out of him today, and he has delivered for Dan Wilson. The 3-1. Swing and a deep drive right field. Moore, frozen for a moment, breaks back and makes the catch. 1 out.
And he's thrown 88 pitches in this ball game, but Brian Wu's still got really good stuff. That fastball is still electric, mid to upper 90s. And he was able to get that sinker in on the hands of Bo Bichette.
Warming up in the pen, though, the former Blue Jay, Casey Lawrence, is getting loose right now. Called up today to help alleviate the tired bullpen situation for the Mariners.
How about that? Casey Lawrence still doing it. I played with him in Buffalo.
First pitch to Vlad Guerrero Jr. inside, ball 1. Vlad 0 for 2 today. A walk, stranded on second in the 5th. Wu's 1-0. Hit foul down the right field line, 1-1.
Jimmy Garcia is warming up for the Toronto Blue Jays out in that bullpen in left field. It's always nice to see him getting loose.
Never a bad sight for John Schneider and Pete Walker. 1 out and the 1-1. Hit on the ground left side, diving block at third. Williamson picks it up off the dirt, and a nice throw over to first for the out.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just hit that ground ball 120 miles an hour. I don't know if that's correct. Is that correct?
That's the reading online as well, 120. Ben Williamson advanced quickly to the majors because of his defensive prowess, and he showed it at third, blocking that ball before throwing out Guerrero. Two outs, the pitch to Anthony Santander. Hit back foul, 0-1. 3-1 Blue Jays, bases empty, bottom in the 7th. For all of those joining us on the West Coast on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, thanks so much for tuning in. The Blue Jays opening up the series against the Seattle Mariners and leading 3-1. 0-1 pitch from starter Brian Wu, foul tipped, 0-2. Blue Jays with a run in the first, run in the second, and one in the 4th. Lone Mariners run today came on a Rowdy Tellez solo shot off of Bowden Francis. Brian Wu trying to complete a 7th inning of work. Facing the switch hitter batting left Santander. The pitch is hit foul.
Good job from Santander staying on that changeup that was down, just fouling it off, staying alive.
That grounder from Vlad, by the way, hardest hit ball of his career, the last out. 0-2. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, that's why I was wondering if it was correct. 120.4 miles an hour.
That was the reading. It wasn't just on the board here.
Hey, I'm not questioning it. Well, maybe I am. I just wasn't sure.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Very nice day from Brian Wu. He strikes out Anthony Santander and completes a 7th inning of work. Blue Jays still on top, though, 3-1, and it appears that Jimmy Garcia will be in the game next. 8th inning when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Feel the excitement of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. Europe's best clubs.
What a start for Inter! And Barca are level! Brilliant Arsenal goal!
The world's brightest stars.
Mbappe! Kane! Rafinha!
All chasing club soccer's ultimate prize.
A new page in their glorious history!
The Champions League knockout stage, where legends are made. On Sirius XM FC, channel 157 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
VSiN, the sports betting network, is back on SiriusXM. Go to channel 158 for informed wagering and fantasy advice from familiar voices like Gil Alexander, Paulie Howard, and Mitch Moss. Plus, SiriusXM mainstays Adam Shine, Rich Gannon, and the guru, John Hansen. We're getting you ready for the upcoming games with a finger on the pulse of the latest news and the moving lines and odds. VSiN, the sports betting network, is now on SiriusXM 158 and on the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. 8th inning between the Blue Jays and the Mariners, and Toronto leading Seattle 3-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. It's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Reaching 10 years of service time exactly in Major League Baseball today, Jimmy Garcia enters the game for the Blue Jays after receiving a big applause from his teammates in the clubhouse before the game and a loud applause in the middle of the first from the Toronto faithful. 34-year-old righty Garcia deals to J.P. Crawford, who hits the ball high and deep to center. Springer tracking back at the warning track, makes the catch in left center field. One pitch and one loud out.
And J.P. Crawford might have been right on that pitch, but it was a decent sinker that kind of ran away from the barrel, maybe about 10 feet from that wall in center field. A nice play from George Springer, bringing it in for out number one.
Jimmy Garcia entered today with 9 1/3 innings of scoreless pitching, 14 strikeouts to 3 walks. Top of the order now. Garcia looking in at the righty hitter Julio Rodriguez. The pitch. Low ball 1.
That might have been his best fastball he's thrown this season. It had all kinds of depth to it, 97 miles an hour.
That was the sinker, throws a 4-seamer as well. Dominican righty sets third base side of the rubber and the 1-0. Down and away ball 2. It is not an easy feat for a non-closer reliever to reach 10 years of service time, and Garcia has pulled that off. 2-0 pitch. Popped up, foul, back out of play over the first base dugout into the seats, 2-1.
It's also really difficult for a reliever to be consistent. For whatever reason, relievers in Major League Baseball, it's kind of a roller coaster, and you have to ride that roller coaster. Sometimes you're great one season, sometimes you're not great. You give up a 4 spot in an inning, and you're fighting all season to get that ERA back down. But Jimmy Garcia is kind of the model of consistency, at least over the last 3 or 4 years. He's been very, very good.
Garcia nods and sets. His 2-1. Hit foul down the right field line. That one is going to get out of play again, 2-2. And some of the story of his 10 years of service time involves today's opponent. Garcia traded to the Seattle Mariners for the second half last year. Never seemed fully healthy. Only ended up in 9 innings for them in the second half. And had a rare patch of struggles, but Really good for the Blue Jays. Last year has been even better to start off this season. His 2-2. And he hit him. Caught him up high. I don't think that got him on the head, but it was close. And it's good to see that Rodriguez is okay. He's going to walk down to first base with one out.
Yeah, well, Jimmy Garcia wasn't trying to come up and in, but sometimes his fastball, that sinker, runs a lot. And they tried to come up above the strike zone. You could see Kirk standing up straight almost. But it kind of ran up around that tricep area of Rodriguez. Luckily, he's okay at first base right now.
So one out and the tying run comes to the plate. It's 3-1 Blue Jays with Rodriguez on first and Jorge Polanco at the dish. Garcia peeks over his shoulder, deals home. Misses high and outside, ball one. Polanco singled in the 6th inning for his first hit of the day. He's 1 for 3 on the day and batting .375 on the season. 1-0 pitch. Rodriguez takes off. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. Not in time. I'm not sure the tag ever touched him. The ball looked like it was there in time. And the Blue Jays are going to take a look.
Yeah, I don't know what that look was on Bo Bichette's face, whether it was a I touched him look or I didn't touch him. I think the Blue Jays are actually going to take a look at this.
He did definitely tag him, by the way, on the second look that we just got from the Apple TV.
Challenging the safe call at second base.
And like we've seen, the call in the field is safe, so there has to be definitive evidence. You saw the slow motion. I haven't seen it yet.
It looked fairly definitive in my first look that he was out. But we're still getting another look right now on the big screen at Rogers Center. The throw basically dragged Bo Bichette's glove into Julio Rodriguez. And to me,
I mean, it's pretty definitive. Another great throw, great tag from Bo Bichette, and I think he's out at second base. The glove kind of brushed by the backside of Julio Rodriguez before that left hand touches second base. I think he's out. If they don't overturn this, I don't know what I'm looking at.
As they continue to wait for it, let's quickly look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Although it looks like we have the call. Let's listen in.
After review, the ball field is overturned. The runner's out. Player takes down.
So a huge play by Kirk, throwing out Julio Rodriguez, call overturned on review. Now 2 down. Let's just quickly wrap up the standings. New York 12-7. The Blue Jays a game behind the Yankees 11-8. Boston 10-10. Baltimore 8-10. Tampa Bay 8-11. But that is a massive play. Tying run no longer at the plate. Now 2 outs and the base is empty. And Garcia looking in to Jorge Polanco with a 1-1 count. The pitch. High and outside, ball 2.
And Jorge Polanco is a guy that can go deep. He can run into one. 3 homers, 12 RBIs on the season so far. So like you said, that is a huge out. You don't have to worry as much as for that guy in the batter's box there.
The 2-1 in the dirt, 3-1. I imagine a question that will be asked at Dan Wilson's media availability after the game. Did they put that steal on, or did Rodriguez, who more than likely has a green light, put the steal on himself? Because that's a risky play in a 2-run game. The 3-1 pitch. Swing and a high drive center field. Springer backs up now, jogs in, makes the catch, and ends the inning. No runs on no hits. Alejandro Kirk catches Julio Rodriguez stealing, so nobody left. And at the middle of the 8th inning, the Blue Jays lead it 3-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
One of the best in the game at receiving the ball.
I mean, he's about as good of a strike zone controller as the Blue Jays have.
To a team of elite defenders, he is Captain Kirk, a game caller in unison with this pitcher.
Does he ever have a knowledge of the strike zone?
Framing pitches with precision and a steady hand.
Kirk's done it again.
Be one of the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark on Wednesday, April 30th to get your Alejandro Kirk bobble arm. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Lights up, let's go.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Law and Order Thursday on City TV.
We're charging him with manslaughter.
3 Law and Orders on one epic night.
It was premeditated. It was planned.
Law and Order at 8.
He told me to is not a legal defense against murder.
SVU at 9.
Covering his ass, I'd start thinking about your own.
Followed by the new season of Law and Order Toronto Criminal Intent at 10.
Nothing justifies murder. How about we start with the truth?
Law and Order Thursday, all new, 8/7 Central on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Vladdy with a huge stretch for the double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. A lively night at Rogers Centre. Over 40,000 in attendance. And they've been loud for most of the night with the Blue Jays leading the Mariners 3-1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth alongside Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. Show Ali, our host and producer. Tom Young, Christian Giannini, and Tristan Marcagiani, our technical directors. It's a pitching change for the Mariners, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Former Blue Jay Casey Lawrence deals a first pitch strike to Andres Jimenez to get ahead 0-1. 37-year-old Pennsylvanian Casey Lawrence pitched with the Blue Jays a bit in 2017 and a bit in 2022. Here's 0-1. Swinging bunt right in front of the plate. Lawrence scrambles in, picks it up, throws on to first. 1 out.
Nice play from Casey Lawrence getting off that mound. Pretty good changeup from him with a ton of movement. That's really what his bread and butter is. That's why he's a guy that's stuck around as long as he has. It's the movement on the fastball, the movement on the changeup. Nothing too overpowering here from Casey Lawrence.
61st major league appearance in Lawrence's career. He's made over 300 in the minor leagues. His pitch to George Springer called a strike 0-1, and even a little bit in Japan as well.
And you can see that fastball there, that sinker from Casey Lawrence. A lot of movement, but just 88 miles an hour.
The 0-1 inside.
37 years old. That's why I say he's still doing it.
And he's, riding kind of that taxi squad spot right now on the Mariners roster. He'll get DFA'd, then brought back up, then DFA'd. 1-1 is lifted by Springer to right field. Dylan Moore's going to wave off the center fielder Julio Rodriguez, make the catch just in front of the track, 2 down.
George Springer slammed his bat into the ground after hitting that baseball to right field. You could tell that he wanted to do damage with that pitch. It was kind of a sinker right down the middle, and he just missed it.
2 down, bases empty, 3-1 Blue Jays. Addison Barger up in the bottom of the 8th.
But Casey Lawrence is kind of the definition of that 4A guy. He's kind of stuck between AAA and the big leagues.
First pitch strike to Barger, 0-1. Hadn't pitched at the major league level since 2023 when he pitched 15 times with St. Louis. Back again this year, and he misses low to Barger, 1-1. Barger 0 for 3 today, but he's had a really nice day. 3 assists. Next pitch is hit on the ground to second base. Picked up there by Rivas, and Leo Rivas throws over to first to Donovan Solano to end the inning. Blue Jays lead 3-1, and the light's about to go down at Rogers Centre. We go to the 9th. Jeff Hoffman looking for the save when we come back. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The temperature is rising. The flowers are blooming. And Happy Radio is here to make your days even brighter. Playing nothing but feel-good hits to put a pep in your step.
Because I'm happy.
Listen to our collection of happy radio channels anytime at home with the SiriusXM app on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front Office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
From dramatic walk-offs.
This ball is crushed into the trees. Grand slam.
To jaw-dropping web gems.
A diving catch over the shoulder by Johnson.
College softball and baseball are heating up, and you can catch the action on SiriusXM. Hear live play-by-play from the nation's top conferences and powerhouse programs all season long. Stay connected to the action on SiriusXM or streaming anytime on the SiriusXM app. For a complete schedule of games, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
Blue Jays fans, after this game, get back to what's really important. Your fantasy football team. We're talking about it right now on Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the SiriusXM app.
Net Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome back to downtown Toronto. Top of the ninth inning, Blue Jays 3, Mariners 1 in a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. It's the closer, Jeff Hoffman, into the ball game. Again, Blue Jays up 3-1, and he'll start with the slugging, switch-hitting catcher, Cal Raleigh. Hoffman, the righty, kicks and deals. Raleigh takes it inside, ball one. High 90s fastball, occasionally getting close to triple digits. Splitter, slider for Jeff Hoffman. Here's 1-0. Swing and a high pop-up back of third. Ernie Clementon at third. And onto the outfield turf, makes the catch. 1 out.
Well, that's a big first out for Jeff Hoffman. Coming into tonight's game, Cal Raleigh has 6 homers in his last 6 games. A really powerful dude. A big first out for the Jays.
Clementon for Wagner. Also Miles Straw into the game into center field. Springer moves to right. Addison Barger, who did have a great defensive night, is now out. 1 out, base is empty, and the longtime Tampa Bay Ray, Randy Arozarena, up. Hoffman with a breath and the pitch. Fastball, strike one. Not sure if Arozarena felt quick pitch, but he stepped out of the box as that pitch was coming in.
I think he was just taking there. I think that's kind of what he was doing. Stepped out as that pitch was coming in.
Right on right, the 0-1. Called strike, slider right on that outside corner, and he gets ahead 0-2.
How about that? Doesn't get any more perfect than that pitch right there.
Hoffman kicks and deals. In the dirt, ball one.
Staying away with 3 straight sliders to Arozarena. I'd imagine he has to come back with something hard here, preferably above the strike zone. But Arozarena can actually hit those pitches above that strike zone, so you have to be careful here.
A lot of pop for the left fielder. 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Another slider, that's 4 in a row. Staying away from the hard stuff with Arozarena up there.
Arozarena 0 for 2, hit by a pitch. The 2-2 pitch. High with the heater, ball 3. Arozarena was involved in one of the more exciting plays of the game in the fourth after he was hit by a pitch. A 9.6252 out recorded between the home and third. 3-2. Hit foul, still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
9.6252.
It went Barger
to
to Bichette to Kirk to Wagner, back to Kirk. Part of the reason the Blue Jays still lead 3-1. 1 out, base is empty, top of the ninth. And another 3-2 from Hoffman. He got him. Splitter inside, swing and a miss from Arozarena, 2 down.
And how about that? He knew he had to throw a strike in that situation, but he's got all kinds of confidence in that split finger. He starts it right down the middle, and it faded inside, right underneath the barrel of a Rosarena. A huge out in this ball game.
Fans starting to get onto their feet. 2 outs, bases empty. The pitch to Dylan Moore, fouled back 0-1. 40,263 in attendance today. Many of them lined up for hours before this one, waiting to get their City Connect Bomber jackets and to see the Blue Jays. 3-1 Toronto lead. The 0-1. Fastball just misses up top at 98. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hoffman with 4 saves on the season. Sets at the belt. Here's 1-1. Just outside, according to Jansen Visconti. The strike box disagrees, but it's called a ball. It's 2-1.
Yeah, that's a strike. Jeff Hoffman just missed his spot, but that's still a strike.
2-1 count, 2 outs, bases empty. Hoffman deals. Foul back, it's 2-2. The few in the crowd that weren't up before are on their feet now. Quick discussion between Visconti and Hoffman, and Jeff Hoffman will walk back up the hill.
I think Visconti is just giving Alejandro Kirk some time. That foul ball off the bat of Moore hit Kirk right in the thigh. It's a tough place to get hit.
Kirk ready to go, so is Hoffman set. Looking in at Dylan Moore with 2 outs. The 2-2. Foul back. Good job by Dylan Moore covering 97 above the zone to keep this game going.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch, even to foul off.
Another 2-2 from Hoffman. Check swing, and that pitch was up and in, ball 3.
Tried to go with that split finger again, just kind of pushed it a little bit, and it floated up and away.
Moore will ask for time, really digging into the back of that righty box. Twisted his right foot, kicked some dirt away, now slamming the barrel of his bat into each of his feet. 3-1 Blue Jays, top of the 9th. 2 outs, bases empty. Moore steps into the righty box. Looks out at Hoffman, who's set. The closer's 3-2. Fouled off. Dylan Moore giving the fans their money's worth, keeping everyone here a little bit longer.
I think the fans have gotten their money's worth.
Moore's seen 7 pitches. He's been challenged up top with 97, 98 a couple times, and remained at the plate. A couple good foul-offs. Hoffman set again. Another 3-2. He got him! Blue Jays win 3-1 to open the series.
And how about that ball game from the Toronto Blue Jays? A heck of a game from Bowden Francis, Jimmy Garcia, and Jeff Hoffman. But you have to give credit to Addison Barger. I don't know how many runs he saved in this ball game, but 2 huge throws from right field to save at least a couple of runs. What a game from him. What a game from Alejandro Kirk behind the plate. A big win for the Toronto Blue Jays.
3-1 the final score. The Blue Jays have won 3 in a row. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up and get you over to a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. Stay with us. 3-1 the final score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The 2 men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada.
Gary, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center, where the Blue Jays just wrapped up a 3-1 series opening win over the Seattle Mariners. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. And Chris, a lot to discuss in this game. Let's start first with the Blue Jays starting pitcher. Bowden Francis was coming off an outing in which he allowed 5 runs, only 3 of them earned, but got hit around it as much as he has in a long time, and he bounced back for Toronto in a big way.
Yeah, and he looked a little bit shaky early on. We talked about how that fastball was kind of arm side high outside of the strike zone, but he really bounced back. He really settled in. He started using that split finger a little bit more. He started really throwing strikes with that fastball, and I think it all comes down to just comfort. He was trying to do too much early on. He knows that this is a powerful Seattle Mariners lineup, and he kind of just settled in and really started making really good pitches. And I mean, this is one of the best games I've seen him throw, not stuff-wise, not box score-wise. It's just being able to kind of fight through and grind through a tough start. A good job from him.
He goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 1 hit batter, 5 strikeouts. And the bats, although they didn't score a ton of runs today, did get him some early support. The Blue Jays with a run in the first, a run in the second, and a run in the fourth. A really nice day from George Springer. 2 hits and 2 runs scored. Alejandro Kirk with a walk and an RBI single. Will Wagner had 2 hits today as the bottom part of that order continues to do a lot of work for the Blue Jays. But we're not going as great as the starting pitching was and some of the hitting at the bottom to middle of the order was. We're not going to either of those spots for today's player of the game. Instead, we will go to the outfield. Addison Barger is today's play of the game for these big throws. Here's the pitch to Cal Raleigh, and he hammers it down the right field line. Takes a hop and bangs into the wall in the right field corner. Raleigh around first. Throw from Barger into second, and he got him. Addison Barger cuts down Cal Raleigh, looking to advance a single into a double. There are 2 down. He looks at Tellez, the 1-1. Hit in the air, right field. Coming in now, curling back toward the line is Barger. He'll make the catch. Tellez tagging from second, trying for third. Barger's throw bounces in, and he got him by a mile. Do not test Addison Barger. 2 down.
Well, the Cal Raleigh throw, I understand that. Cal Raleigh saw Addison Barger kind of bobble that ball in right field. If I'm running around first base and I see that as a base runner, I'm thinking I'm taking the extra base. Addison Barger was able to get that ball in his bare hand and throw a seed to second base to get him. But the Rowdy Tellez one, I don't understand. He had already seen the arm of Addison Barger earlier on in the ball game, and he decided to test it yet again, and he was thrown out by a mile at third base. And at the time, that was a huge out in that ball game. So Addison Barger, he was kind of didn't really factor into the offensive part of the game today, but what a game defensively. I don't know how many runs he saved, but it must have been a lot.
He ended up with 3 outfield assists total in the game, becoming the first Blue Jays outfielder to do that since Rick Bassetti threw out 3 Tigers on May 28th, 1979. Addison Barger being the next guy to accomplish that feat after Bassetti. And he helped the Blue Jays to a 3-1 win over the Mariners. Seattle scored 1 on 5 hits, no errors, 4 left. The Blue Jays 3 on 7 hits, no errors, 6 left. The win for Bowden Francis, he's now 2-2 on the year. The loss for Brian Wu, he's 2-1. Jeff Hoffman 5 for 5, picks up his 5th save of the season. The game took 2 hours, 20 minutes in front of a sellout crowd, over 40,000. And with the 3rd consecutive win for the Blue Jays, they're 12-8. The Mariners back to 500 now, 10-10. A really fun game, and we have another fun pitching matchup coming up tomorrow. Logan Gilbert for the Mariners, all-star last season. Jose Barrios for the Blue Jays, still trying to get his season on track. We'll see if he can do it tomorrow. 3:07 first pitch. For our technical directors, Tom Young, Christian Chiniti, and Tristan Marcagiani, our host and producer, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. We really appreciate it. And stick around. Get your calls, get your texts in. It's a winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starting right now.
Tonight, the numbers to call is always 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. You can text us via 590, name and location, please. I guess really the only place to start with this game, Kevin, is the outs and the bases for the Mariners, the defensive plays by Addison Barger and Alejandro Kirk as well. But, my goodness, the Mariners certainly helped Bowden Francis out today.
Yeah, I mean, again, some of these plays are right in front of you, right? The Rowdy Tellez thing with first and second. You got a dude on the ropes, right? I mean, bottom of the order's coming up. You got a chance of doing some things. Bowden Francis's breaking ball hadn't been real good. The split finger carrying a little bit too much of the zone, didn't have, as much bite as it normally has. Fastball command, strike ones were a little all over the place, right? I mean, it wasn't his best outing. He fought through it. I'm with you. It's just sort of baseball IQ. You turn around, you look at the scoreboard. You read scouting reports about a guy in the outfield, how good of an arm, how good of a jump does he get, how accurate is his arm, how much does his ball carry to his target, all of those things come into play. And for you to think you got to tag up and go to third base, it's there's just no excuse for it. Like, that's things you get fined for. You don't play the next day, but it's baseball 2025. So yeah, look, that's sort of, I think, when your team is not offensively sound the way the Mariners is not, and they rely on pitching and defense, you have to always make baseball IQ plays. And when you don't, but give the Blue Jays credit, right? When a guy's trying to steal with, your best 2 hitters coming up, Kirky got that quick little release. He's been working on that forever. He's been really good at that, right? Jumping to his feet, getting the ball out of his glove, having that quick release, throwing to, the second, sort of the second base side of second base, which is exactly what you want to do, right? Having Bo come running by and sort of try and tag the back part and the legs is, sort of the thing you're trying to do now. It gets bound to look up at the scoreboard. Look who's standing on the on-deck circle. Look what you haven't been doing all year. And just sometimes by watching these guys who try and make a living of doing this, Jeff, sometimes just make you scratch your head. But Jays will take it. Jays, that's a team win. That's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. That's what a team, doing all the little things to win a baseball game against another good team who can pitch. That's how you do it.
Yeah, the Mariners for 3 years now haven't been able to get out of their own way, whether it's the front office doing stupid things or games like tonight. I mean, that is a Seattle Mariners. That's their DNA right there. A game like this, good starting pitching, and just bad baseball, and that is the Seattle Mariners, and that's one of the reasons why I think that the Seattle Mariners are just, every year they're smoke and mirrors. They get people excited, and every year they're smoke and mirrors. 416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590. The Jays are now 12-8. And the series continues tomorrow at the Rogers Center, a 3:07 first pitch. Kevin, you talked about it being a team win, not just the defense, but certainly in terms of the offense as well. George Springer back in the lineup, 2 runs scored, a double. But again, Alan Roden, sacrifice fly, a lot going on in 7, 8, 9 in the order for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I think it's lineup approach, right? Brian Wu coming in. I mean, you just look at some of these things. Zone percentage, 61%. League average is 49%. Strike one percentage is 66%. League average is 61%. League is hitting 206 versus his fastball. If I'm a hitter, just reading those three things, I know he's in the zone a lot. I know he throws a lot of strike ones. I know he loves his fastball. I know nobody can hit it. What am I going to have to hit? 5 of the 7 hits they had tonight were off Wu's fastball. That's exactly what you call an approach, right? It's sort of that team thing of knowing all of the things that I just mentioned going into a game, being ready to hit. I said that on our show today. Against this pitching staff as a whole.
Be ready to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't, they're going to take you behind the woodshed. Give the Jays credit, right? I mean, they were ready to hit. You could tell they were athletic, quicker. It looked to me like anyway. And they were trying to hit it where it's pitched. We saw Santander have a sac fly to left tonight, which is, when can you say that?
On the first pitch.
Absolutely. That gets back to that strike one percentage of 66%, right? So it's just knowing what a guy does, knowing how a guy feels up the zone, knowing what his best pitch is, knowing that you're going to have to try and attack that, knowing it's going to be really hard because of the velocity. You got to get it down sooner. You just love what you saw there, right? You're putting pressure on a guy. You're getting him often and early. You don't want to go deep in counts. I mean, again, that's what winning looks like, and that's what a team win looks like. So good for them. They got off to a good start here in the homestand.
Sam and Hamilton, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys. First of all, it's really nice to see this team start winning at home. I feel like the last couple of years they haven't done that. So I know it's still early on in the season, but it's nice to see them get the wins at home. Second point, I still think this team is one bat short of truly potentially contending, and I'm looking at a guy like Nolan Arenado. And if you can somehow get Nolan Arenado on this team, I think maybe this team could win the division.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the call, Sam. I think they can win the division right now, to be honest.
Wow.
I think that I picked the Red Sox to win the division. I'm going to stick with it. But I've said, and I'm certainly not the only person who has this opinion. I think any team in this division can finish in first. I think any team in this division can finish fifth. That's just the way I think the way the division is going to be. And if the Jays can keep their starting pitching healthy, I'm with you. I mean, they could use another thumper. The thing you have to remember is in-season additions of hitters are rare. A lot of times at the trade deadline, you're going to see teams go out and acquire pitching. Every now and then you can acquire a hitter. But here's the thing. If the American League is as bad as it's going to be, there are going to be a lot of American League teams that at the trade deadline are going to be sitting there saying, are we in? Are we out? Well, I mean, our record would suggest we should be out. But looking around the rest of the league, we're kind of in it. So I'm with you, but I think this team can win a division right now the way it is. I don't think they're a World Series contender. I think their lineup's a little shy, but I mean, every team in the American League's got flaws. We saw Texas tonight as well. I believe the Dodgers were beating Texas. Every team's got flaws in this league.
Yeah, I think it's. Do you think that the Jays can make a serious run at the division not slugging? That's the thing. I think Sam's point is they need that extra thumper just because they don't slug. I'm presuming. I'm presuming that Bo and Santander are gonna start slugging. Well, I mean, you hope so. I think that's what the way you're seeing it now, the way the back end of the bullpen looks, the way the rotation it looks. Like they're going to give you a chance basically every single night they go out there. It's just how much can they slug, right? It's going to be hard to win a division beating teams 3-1. Just is. I mean, it's nice to watch them get them on, get them over, get them in, but. Consistently, can you do that, Jeff, and win 93-ish games? It's a lot of games. So, hopefully they don't have to. Hopefully the big three get hot, stay hot for long periods of time, hit you close to 90 to 100 homers. They do that. All the other things I think will fall in place, and now they do have a serious chance of winning the division.
Brendan in Edmonton, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, Jeff, Kevin. Kevin, first of all, I just want to say, sorry about the loss of, I believe it was your mother. I feel for that, man. That hits home lost my grandfather just over a year ago now, and it really hurts sometimes to lose family like that. But
absolutely, I
looking on the
appreciate
Jays, I just want to say I was surprised by how they've been doing in the bullpen. Back end, I wasn't sure about Jeff Hoffman coming into the season, how he was going to take to the closer's role. But him and Jimmy Garcia at the back end have really solidified that and put a couple of no-brainers in the hands of John Snyder, where he doesn't have to think about it, doesn't have to picture matchups, just puts those guys in the right spot and let them eat. The 97 to 98 is fun to watch, and the fire that they pitch out there is a lot of fun to watch as well. And then another thing one question is, how much does Addison Barger have to hit in order for him to stay in the lineup? Because clearly his arm is a weapon in the outfield, but he's not going to have the foot speed to close distance on balls, and his route running could use a little bit of refinement out there. But his arm can be something that the Jays can lean on defensively if he can hit enough.
I appreciate the call, Brendan, and thanks for the kind words as well. I mean, Kev, when Dalton Varsho comes back, I think Addison Barger is probably the guy who's the odd man out. Maybe Nathan Lucas, although I think Nathan Lucas gives you a little more utility in the outfield. Look, Addison Barger's arm is one reason why, in a perfect world, he's third base. He's at third base for the Jays if he's hitting. But yeah, he does have a great arm. I mean, statistically, it measures up. But you got to hit, for me anyhow, you've got to hit to get a regular spot in this lineup. So I would say he and Lucas, when Dalton Varsho comes back, those are probably the two guys you're looking at as one of the two leaving.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think all the lefties that they do have that might come off a bench, if needed be, none of them hit homers. That's the thing, right? I think if Addison was a threat to hit a homer off the bench, I think that would force John Snyder's hand to keep him on a team. I think he could play decent enough third base if they needed it to. I know they're not wanting him to play the infield, but if they had to have that, if he got hot offensively and, you had to put whoever you had to put in right field, I just think it's that threat of hitting the homer. He gets hot, hits a few homers. I think that might put him ahead of a guy like Nathan Lucas. They're going to play the hot hand. They need to sooner than later hit homers. Every time Jeff John's been on our show, he's always basically ended a question from us with, we need to hit some homers. And if they got a guy like a Barger who can hit homers, maybe that would force his hand, keep him on the team. But I think that's a good problem to have. You got enough guys that you can pick from to sort of solidify that 23rd to 26th man roster on your team.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because this is an organization that for the longest time couldn't beg, borrow, or steal a left-handed hitter. Now you pretty much you got them coming out of the yin-yang. I mean, they're not, they're certainly.
Hey Insiders, thanks for hanging out with us this weekend. The Seattle Mariners are in town to face our Toronto Blue Jays here at the Sky Dome. Thank you for hanging out with us for the Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Go Jays, go! It's going to be a great game, and we are so thankful that you chose to hang out here on Toronto Sports Insider. Cheers, baseball fans! Thank you so much for hanging out with us during the Blue Jays game today. Now's the time. I just had to stop the show during our commercial break and say thank you. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, and we're doing big things with SickKids Hospital in Toronto. Right now, we are getting ready for our Playoff Pulse campaign. We are live for our Playoff Pulse campaign, celebrating the NHL and NBA playoffs. And remember, last October, we did every game of the MLB playoffs, and we're going to do it again, hopefully this year, with our Blue Jays in the hunt for that beautiful trophy in October. or November, depending on when the series ends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for supporting our mission to support SickKids Hospital and the great work that they do at that amazing place in our home, downtown Toronto. We'll see you back in the chat. Cheers, Insiders. Let's go, Blue Jays.
With games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Blue Jays Sunday.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are here on Sportsnet.
The wait is over.
Round one begins with 5 Canadian teams in the hunt for Lord Stanley.
Away we go.
The Leafs take on the Senators.
Battle of Ontario.
The Capitals versus the Canadiens.
They're on their feet in Montreal.
The Jets against the Blues.
Winnipeg, this could be the year.
The Kings versus the Oilers.
Edmonton and Los Angeles rekindled a rivalry.
Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs.
It's showtime.
Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
I led Canada through the global financial crisis. Today, we also face big challenges. The two men running to lead us both once worked for me, and my choice unequivocally is Pierre Poilievre. Only Pierre is putting forward an actual plan to make life affordable, make our streets safer, and put us in a strong position in dealing with the U.S. Only Pierre will bring change. Please join with me in voting Conservative.
Authorized by the Chief Agent of the Conservative Party of Canada.
Barry, do you ever wonder why we fly north every year?
Obviously, it's because of Armstrong bird food.
I thought it was because of the weather or migration or something.
Oh, Steve, you need to spread those wings and open your eyes, partner. Truth is, it's the seeds, the nuts, the berries, the good stuff. Armstrong's got it all.
So all this time, you've been chasing snacks?
Bingo! You think I'd flap these wings thousands of miles for anything else?
Armstrong, Canada's premier bird food. The reason birds fly north. Find Armstrong at Canadian Tire, Home Hardware, and other fine retailers. Or learn more at ArmstrongBirdFood.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss. Strike three. Another screaming flex from Hoffman.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
He looks at Tellez, the 1-1. In the air, right field. Coming in now, curling back toward the line is Barger. He'll make the catch. Tellez tagging from second, trying for third. Barger's throw bounces in, and he got him by a mile. Do not test Addison Barger. 2 down.
Shout out to Adam for the stat. I think 99 miles an hour, hardest throw in the big leagues. He's got a good arm. We know that. And, you know, the play on Cal and then the relay play and then the throw to third was, I think most people throw to second there. That's a huge play. You know, I think we had 4 outs in the bases. Yeah, he's got a really impressive arm.
That is John Schneider talking about Addison Barger, who had quite a game defensively for the Blue Jays. The first outfielder to record 3 assists since Rick Bassetti, I think they said in the radio broadcast, August 28th, 1979. Threw out 3 Detroit Tigers. The Jays 3-1 winners over the Seattle Mariners. We will go back to the phone lines in a few minutes, but first, let's take a look around the American League East with Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The American League East teams, they are all finished for the night. Of course, you know the Blue Jays beat the Mariners 3-1. The New York Yankees shut out the Tampa Bay Rays 1-0. The Boston Red Sox beat the Chicago White Sox 10-3. Trevor Story, 2 3-run home runs for the Red Sox. And the Cincinnati Reds beating the Baltimore Orioles 8-3. So as we look at the standings right now in the AL East, the Yankees are 13-7. Barker's Jays are 12-8. They may have a shot at those 18 wins. Yeah. Something I called way earlier in the month. The Boston Red Sox are 11-10. The Baltimore Orioles are 8-10, and my Tampa Bay Rays are 8-12. They've now lost 4 in a row, and that must have been odd for the Yankees to be playing the Rays at Steinbrenner Field, being the visiting team in April. But there you go. 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. Back to the phone lines we go, and a reminder, tomorrow's game is a 3:07 first pitch. It will be on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and on Sportsnet. Ben in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
First pitch. Hey.
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
guys?
Ben, go ahead.
Hey, big full van of Blue Jays fans right here. We're loving the energy from the Jays game today.
Excellent.
And we wanted to touch on how electric we are so far. And I was just talking about how much better it would be if Vladdy and Santander started hitting home runs, and maybe if we could pick up somebody who hit home runs, and I think we could maybe win the AL East. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the call. Yeah, again, another thumper would be great. Yeah. I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's anybody out there on the trade market. Certainly, it's still pretty early. But yeah, Santander and Vladdy start hitting home runs. If they start hitting home runs and the rest of the team does what it's doing right now, George Springer continues to contribute in the manner that he's contributing. Again, they've got to have a lot break their way to win the American League East. But so does everybody else in that division. They really do. Baltimore's got issues with pitching. Boston, I still think top to bottom, they've got the best lineup. I think they potentially could have a pretty good rotation. Bullpen concerns me. And the Yankees, I just don't think they have enough arms. So again, the AL East is going to be like this all year. And I suppose there's a chance that somebody makes a big addition and maybe that addition addresses a lot of the issues, but it's not like teams haven't tried. Boston's added a bunch. Baltimore's made some off-season additions. They kind of, looked in the mid-market to the lower market for a lot of players. The Yankees they keep getting people hurt. I think I'll say this. If the Jays starting rotation can stay healthy, and if they somehow figure out what to do with Max Scherzer's spot, if they stay healthy, I don't see any reason they can't win this division. I really don't.
Well, look, maybe the MVP of these teams will be the GM that makes the right move at the trade deadline, right? You've said this from day one that the American League East is stacked up. You wouldn't be surprised the 5th place team or the 1st place team, right? Yep. That's how sort of it's all stacked together because of the injuries, and I just think they got to slug more. How do they do that? If that if that's Bo, if one of the 3 gets hot for a long period of time, I think that'll help. It don't have to be all 3 of them at the same time. Get one hot for a long period of time, just sort of let everybody fill in the blank because of how much better their bullpen is. They're going to win most of the games they're supposed to win. If you do that and play better at home like they have been and make the Rogers Center a tougher place to come in there and play against their team, I think you got a chance. Now, winning a division, I'm not quite there yet. I still think, for me anyway, I picked the Yankees. I'm going to stick with the Yankees because they hit more home runs than anybody else in the American League. So I'll stay there. But I wouldn't shock me if the Red Sox or the Blue Jays or even the Orioles make a run at it and get hot. And all these teams got good players. So that's what the beauty of the American League East this year is. Anybody, I think, can win it. Maybe not the Rays. I don't think the Rays can for me anyway, but the other 4 teams can.
Yeah, I was counting a lot on the Rays being able to take advantage of that minor league park that they play in, but their opponents are playing in the same minor league park, right? Yeah, so what works for the Rays is going to work for the other team, and more often than not, the team facing the Rays is going to be the team that's going to have a better lineup or hit for more power. So, at the end of the day, it may not be that big an asset for them. Bevan Ottawa on Twitter regarding the cleanup spot. I was waiting for somebody to go here. She's wondering whether or not you'd try George Springer there. Yeah.
Why not?
As long as the wrist, why not? The wrist certainly looked okay today. Certainly didn't. I kept waiting for that swing, right? Where the wrist, where you would see the wrist flare up again. You didn't see it. Yeah, why not? I mean, George is putting the ball in play. George is pulling the ball. Absolutely. I'd move him in the cleanup spot. Again, the whole cleanup spot right now it's almost like it's a mirage. It's almost like it's a mirage for the Blue Jays. Until Dalton Varsho gets here, I don't think you're going to see the finalized lineup, as it were. But sure, I'd put Springer in the leadoff spot. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a
or
revolving
cleanup
door.
spot. Pardon me.
It's a revolving door. Jimenez, I think, makes sense because of how athletic he is, and it's who follows him. I think when he gets on base and he can steal a base, he can put pressure, make it easier for the guy standing on the on-deck circle with the guy at the plate to get a little bit better of a pitch to hit because the pitcher's thinking about the dude on base. I think that's what John, at least the times that me and you have asked him that, have, sort of been trying to maneuver that around and get, the next guy better pitches to hit because of who's hitting in front of him. I don't think they don't really have a cleanup hitter. Even when Dalton's back, we've seen Dalton in a cleanup spot.
No. I'm not talking about. I'm saying I think when Dalton gets back, you see maybe Santander move into the cleanup spot. Maybe. Is what I'm saying. Dalton's not going to be the cleanup hitter.
You mean put him in like the 2-hole and move Vladdy and Santander?
Dalton's not going to be the cleanup hitter.
Yeah, maybe. So that that make the lineup a little bit longer. I think Santander's a little more comfortable hitting in the cleanup spot. I know Vladdy loves hitting in the 3-hole, but they're winning. So it'd be hard for them to, John to show up and all of a sudden start mixing up, 4 through whatever. I'm sure, he doesn't want to rock the boat too much. There are baseball gods, so you don't want to do that too much. And Jimenez is your everyday second baseman, and you sort of shoved him in that spot because you really don't have anybody else. But I'm sure once everybody gets healthy and everybody's here, they'll maneuver that part of it around, make it look, I think, the way it should be looking, and I would think everybody would feel a little bit more comfortable, and you might start seeing more consistent, better out of everybody offensively. How's that?
Were you surprised to see Dan Wilson be as aggressive as he was in the 7th inning? Empty the benches, knowing you're going to – you're going to get a run of right-handed pitchers coming up.
Yeah, look, Mason Fluharty's not Chad Green or Jimmy Garcia or Jeff Hoffman. I think that's what he was trying to think is now's my time to attack. I know he has to stay out there for 3 guys. The lefty trickery with where he releases it from, the sweeper, the natural cut that he's got on his fastball is a little bit better against the lefty than it is the righty. It almost worked. I mean, he's walking guys, non-competitive. Just so happens that he got to 2 outs and – Chad Green came in and shut the door, which is what you're supposed to do when you're a veteran guy, which was a nice hold. So not for me. I think that's what you got to do on the road. Offensively, you're not doing a ton. You got a guy, which is probably the weakest guy they got in their pen, in my mind. Fluharty's that guy. You take advantage of him while he's out there. The lefties, you don't feel comfortable facing him. You throw all the righties you got off the bench. I mean, that's why you sort of have all those righties is for that exact time. So that ain't why they lost. How about that? They lost because their baseball IQ on the bases was atrocious. How's that? That's why they lost.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, Bowden Francis and Addison Barger both spoke after the game about Addison Barger's defense.
I was just going to catch the ball. I wasn't even thinking about getting behind it because I knew Rowdy was on second. I didn't think there was any chance he was going to try to tag up on that. So honestly, I just was going to catch the ball and looked up and saw he was going and I was like, oh. All right, just do it over there.
You were surprised?
I was kind of surprised that he was tagging, yeah.
I don't know. He just brought a different energy when he throws the ball like that. Makes our innings roll that much quicker for us guys to get back in the box. And it's just like there's a lot of elements to go into it. But I just couldn't believe it. For at least one of them, like you were almost laughing. Just like shaking your head. It's like you couldn't believe it. Yeah, just for him to do that back-to-back, like, I get the arm strength, but the precision of what he has, too, it's pretty sick. He's always had it. I've seen it so many times in Buffalo, seen it obviously around here in the league now, too, but he stepped up in a big spot there, and he saved, like I said, he saved the outing. Hats off to him.
There you go, Bowden Francis, overjoyed, as you can tell. I love Bowden Francis. I truly do. I love Bowden Francis interviews because everything he says he means. He thinks about what he is saying, and I become a major fan of his. I really, really like him.
Well, he ain't lying. I mean, Barger's got a cannon, and I'm in the same boat as Barger. I couldn't believe Rowdy Tellez was tagging up. I mean, he's the only one that thought he could make it. How about
Do you think Julio Rodriguez is running on his own there? He must have a green light. Doesn't he?
This is what I think. I hope so. Okay. I hope there's no manager on the planet with the two dudes that are coming up, the way they're having trouble scoring runs, would allow him to try and take second. I mean, he's already in scoring position at first. That's how fast he is, right? He had a double in the gap. He's scoring from first. You don't have to be at second. What's the point? You have Cal Raleigh, who's hit 5 homers in the last 6 games. What's wrong with you? Like, that for me is one of the main reasons why it's very hard to put Julio in the great talk. Great means you have it all. Baseball IQ, scoreboard telling you who's on the on-deck circle, who's hot. Don't run into outs. Don't beat your team. I mean, just sometimes, man, it makes you scratch your head.
All right, here's the thing. Guy gets hit by a pitch.
Yeah.
Goes to first base. Now, you've been a first baseman.
Yeah.
Can you tell when a guy is so chapped at getting hit by a pitch that he's going to go that he's going to say? Does that happen? Because quite often you hear people say, "Oh, he's going to get his revenge by stealing second."
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe every once in a while I would just ask, "Are you going here?"
In the minors or the majors?
Both. You know me. You know me. You should go. You should go here.
Have you ever had anybody answer that question?
Yeah. They call me names, save it. Like that's, they get all because they just got hit in the, in the kneecap and they're rubbing their knee and I'm going, you should go. They're like, save it, meet. You know how it is, baseball talk.
That's tremendous.
I hope to goodness that the manager didn't put the steal sign on. If he did, that's all you need to know about the manager. So
yeah, I think Julio Rodriguez, he has to have a green light.
Why would he have the green light for, Jeff?
But
why would he have the green light for? Because money.
No, he's your leadoff hitter, and he's got a certain amount of skill.
Oh,
it's got nothing to do with the money.
That's why.
Jesus, man, it's got nothing to do with the money. Ernie Clement's the best base runner in the Blue Jays. You think he has a green light?
Well, he ain't been getting on base all year, so how do we know?
You're completely missing the point.
Am I? I think I've
quite
nailed
often
it.
the case.
I think I've nailed it.
You're entitled to. It's a Friday. 3-1, the Blue Jays have beaten the Seattle Mariners. They got 2 more games left against the Mariners. Tomorrow's the 3:07 first pitch. It'll be on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and Sportsnet. So, thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Gloverton and Clarenville, Newfoundland. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986. So protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game!
It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet! Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off!
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center!
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play! The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
The way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe! You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life!
Outsiders may think this is just 2 teams.
A ball, a bat, and a microphone, but no.
For over 100 years,